Or is it
That's
137?
137.
Oh, okay. Well, everybody hears that I didn't know what episode it was. What's going on, everybody? Cali Death Podcast back once again, episode 137. I got the full crew with me, all the resident homies. I'm Anthony Trapani, by the way. I got Joseph K up there, Casey Howard down there, and Joel Horner over on the right for me, dude. I'm so happy to be here. And if you guys see my environment, it's a lot different than most episodes, and you guys will probably know if you're true with the Cali Death shit that you might know where I'm at. I might save it for later. I'll just.
He's at Mike Gilbert's house.
There you go.
Bam!
Right there.
And motherfucker. Like, couldn't I drop it like maybe wait 20 minutes or something and be like, oh, by the way, like
I'm here
who
too.
figured it out, you know?
Casey's also there, so
I'm in the
It's
other
actually
room. I
it's
can
the
hear
first
Anthony
time-
echoing in my head.
Already.
I don't even know.
And I haven't even gotten as
Yeah.
loud as I probably will.
I'm
in
gonna hear
this
Anthony's
episode,
voice
but
tonight, like all night.
It's the first in person for me, Casey. And have you guys? Well, I know Joel and Joseph did one in person. Casey,
Yeah.
did you do one in person with Joel too?
But Joel, yeah, for sure. Not Joseph. I don't think.
At the Lumber Dome.
Diego too.
Mm-hmm.
Diego
Yeah,
was
at the Lumber
Dome too. Nice.
No. Me and Joel have done it.
Oh yeah, you
At
did
least
one
once or twice,
separate
I
with
think.
Diego. He was at your
Okay.
place down in San Diego.
Yeah. In
Hell
Oceanside,
yeah,
we
dude.
did it. Yeah.
Well, dude, this was super cool because I mean, by the way, tonight we're joined by Robin Stone. What's up, Robin?
Howdy, and my cat too. Sorry.
Hey,
He's,
we
cat's
are
name.
He's in on it.
a pet.
Hey, what's the cat's name?
Pet friendly
Milo.
podcast.
Milo.
Yes.
Milo.
Nice. What's up, Milo?
Me and Casey got a few cats with us too. Mike's cats. We got Birdie
Yeah.
and Cat.
Yeah.
Birdie and Cat.
Should have
I
it
thought
like Robin and Milo as the name.
This is actually something that I didn't say
Oh my
last
God.
night, but I was thinking about it when he told me that his cat's name's Birdie. I was like, wouldn't it be? It's hilarious to be named after something you want to kill. You know, like a cat really just wants to kill the bird, but it's named after what it wants to kill. I don't know. It's kind of a conundrum. But yeah, dude.
Good day.
Robin, thank
Oh.
you for being with us across the planet right now. It's literally lunchtime for you.
Yeah, lunchtime Friday. No, it's a pleasure to be here. It's been a while in the making. I remember Casey asked me a while ago, and like life got in the way. So no, it's good to be here finally.
Cheers.
Killer, dude.
Awesome.
I'm
Oh,
glad
yeah.
this happened, dude. For sure. And let's do the plug thing real quick so we can get through it fast.
For sure.
Joseph, you got, or actually, no. First, we're gonna do no. Take that back. Take that back.
Sorry.
Battle Forge Coffee is always first at this show. BattleForgeCoffee.com. That's where we now are wearing swag from. We're drinking their coffee. We're doing all that over here, and we want you guys to do it as well because it's the homies and deeds of flesh, dude. Like, not only that, it's good coffee, and I say it every episode, but I just want to say those two things every time, which is one, it is the homies and deeds of flesh. That is already like, let's support the underground, and then wait, you get good coffee as well. It's a win-win, dude. If you're in this community, put your money where it should go with the homies and deeds of flesh. Buy your everybody is drinking coffee.
Yeah, who doesn't drink coffee?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Weird.
are you gonna fucking go
weirdo.
give
Yeah.
it to Starbucks?
Yeah.
Are you gonna give it to Starbucks and spend all that crazy money on some burnt coffee? You know, and you might be able to take a Starbucks bean and do it right at home, but if you're if you're drinking Starbucks, you're not doing it at home. You know, you're just out getting it real quick. So do it at home with Battle Forge coffee, dude. Boom. CaliDeathPodcast.BigCartel.com is where you're going to get the t-shirts. That's the only way you put money in the pocket of the show. We're not out here to make money, guys. Literally, once we're done with the shirts, all that money is going right back into fucking merchandise. With this thing, at least, we're here to just chat up with dudes like Robin Stone. You know?
I don't know. This episode might pop off. I'm feeling it. Feeling pretty good about it.
Dude.
We'll see.
I've made like negative $400 from this podcast.
It's super funny.
Yeah. Well, I have a lot of shirts. I'm gonna point to the more and more obscured box of merch. Which, please, I wouldn't put so much stuff in front of it if I was constantly opening it and grabbing shirts out of it. So please help me move it to a better spot in my house, in my shitty tiny apartment.
And we sell Cali Death bikes too.
That's the thing another secret that Joel had given away already in this intro.
Yeah.
Yep. Bikes, reclining back racks, and shirts as our merch inventory. So
we just sold that as merch, reclining back racks.
Forget what the thing's
sell
called.
A couple.
Inversion table. That's what it's called.
Inversion table.
Yep.
Those are sick, dude. Is that the one you hang upside down on?
Yeah, you can.
Oh yeah.
You like it.
Yeah,
I'll show you. I'll get on it one episode.
I got a homie. Shout out Mikey. He has one of those because he has back issues, but also smoking a joint while you're upside down on one of those things, dude.
Good idea.
And then you get thrown back up real quick, and you're like, oh shit, new reality.
That's fucking genius. Can I plug my shit now?
Plug your shit, dog.
All right. First of all, we sponsor Chicago Domination Fest 8, the final Chicago Domination Fest. This is the lineup. It is a lot of good bands. You've probably
can't read any of them.
Yeah. If you can read the bands on the flyer, is it even a good show? So shout out to the people who received our giveaway tickets. We will be sending you those digital. I know we have like 3 weeks left. But yeah, this is coming up, dude. If you're not going to this, what are you even doing? I tell you one thing you might be doing, going to see me play July 28th with The Last of Lucy instead.
Oh, sick. Hell yeah.
So
do it.
If you are from California and broke, come to dude, we got this custom flyer. I was stoked to throw down for this one. It's cool.
Hell yeah, dude. It is cool.
And then I did announce this a couple weeks ago, but not yet on the podcast. So Dreamer, my other band, is supporting Cyborg Octopus, Callius, and the Arson Choir on August 25th. So that's another month past.
Shout out Nicole.
Shout out Nicole. Shout out Cyborg guys. They're all awesome.
And
yeah, when you get them on.
I'm going to say that I like that flyer better just because it's got a more nautical theme. You know me, my pirate
Fair enough.
shit. What up?
Yep.
There's no coins on it though.
And then this is pretty crazy, but playing this Prophecy Fest in the Cave of Valve in Germany. So for any reason, I've sent a couple shirts to Germany. So Cali Death fam out there, go check out my band Illudium.
Dude, and another shout out, Hunter Gin, dude. You guys are gonna go fucking.
I hit up
hang
Hunter.
Out
Yep, we're gonna hang out in Germany.
Dude.
What's he doing? He was
dude.
announcing. He was announcing he was doing something with that. What's he doing?
He's playing with Agalock, the headliners.
That's right. He's playing with them. Okay.
Yeah, he's the drummer of
Agalock, dude. Our host Hunter.
Shout out.
The drummer of Agalock, dude. This fucking.
Yep.
And how excited he is too. It just makes me so happy for him, dude. So
he's like this. He's like,
Hunter, dude. Yeah, dude, it's right there, dude.
No, he sent this to me.
That's so sick.
I love that you had that right there, dude.
I think Jeff. I think is
for the viewers. No, let's keep that quiet for the viewers. Let's leave that for the viewers.
So Jeff might come to the fest too, so I would be able to hang out with all of Radical Research in Germany. So
nice.
Yeah.
Rad.
Awesome. So those are my 3 summer shows. So 3 different bands, 3 summer shows.
Again, check out Radical Research.
Thanks for the chance to plug
this love.
That's all we got.
No doubt.
Robin, what you got? Right. What are you promoting? What's
Nothing. I don't need to promote anything. Yeah, I honestly, nah. It's too hard. There's my cat.
Well, at least the band that we put on the flyer, what was it, Blast Bonks?
Oh, that's just some t-shirts I got made up. So we're on a tour in 2016, and I was 3 a.m, end of the show, in bed at some place, and we're all talking about music and stuff. And I was so tired. Instead of saying blast beats in the conversation, I said blast bonks by accident. I lost my shit. I thought it was the dumbest thing ever, and it just stuck. And so I just
love that,
called them blast bonks forever. And then other people started calling it, and then it just sort of got tied to me. And then people were asking for merch and stuff. They wanted socks and stuff like that. I'm not going to do socks, but I'll do some t-shirts. So eventually, I just got a logo made up.
Breaking the fourth wall a little bit. I told you previously that I didn't. This was actually one of those weeks that I did. I just, for some reason, just didn't have fucking time to really dig into you, but this Blast Bonks thing, that was always in the back of my mind, Blast Bonks, I wonder what that sounds like. I'll eventually talk to him about it on the show, and then I'll, go out and listen to it. But now I'm finding out it's not even a thing.
You're not gonna find it.
I know. I did the Spotify look for it. I was like, I was typed it in. Nothing was there. I was like, all right.
But here's my last 2 cents on that, which is, one, I fucking love it. Blast Bonks. I want to start just calling them Blast Bonks now too. And I love that it's a merchandise, and now I want a shirt. So I'll be talking. Me too. Because that's amazing to me. So all right, that's cool. Rad.
I think I've still got a few left. I've got to get another run printed up at some stage, but I'll have to check down the studio. So
if you got a medium somewhere in there, dude,
probably I'll check it out.
Hell
for
yeah,
sure.
Dude, I'll rep it on the show for sure.
Awesome.
Oh, me too, for sure.
That's a crazy hoodie you're wearing right there too. That's
this one. This is my favorite hoodie ever. It's fallen apart. I had to buy another one recently because this one's disintegrating. I wear it a bit much, so
that was another check off the list of awesomeness for me too, because dissonant and weird music,
there's chaos,
right? Yeah. That's right up my alley, dude. So I'm sure we'll get to a lot of that stuff on the episode. But dude, thank you so much for giving us your time.
My pleasure. Happy to be here.
Oh yeah,
no doubt, dude. But how we always do it on the show, dude, let's go back into your past, dude. As far as you can take us.
As far as I can take. Right.
Meaning your connection with art, or anything.
Yeah.
I used to say think of that first song, but now I just later am starting to think it doesn't even have to be about music, just how you connected with creativity early on in your life,
Well, it's interesting. The first instrument I ever played would have been 1995, because I grew up on a farm, homeschooled, so never went to school. In a rural community, renting on a farm, and my dad was a music teacher. He taught clarinet, saxophone, music theory, and stuff like that. So I started on clarinet.
Nice.
And all the classically trained stuff, but I never really followed it for too long. I'd muck around on it.
Forgive my naivety, but is that how you say that? Naivete.
Sounds good.
Eternity.
You could have sold it.
The clarinet is how is that just straight on? You're playing it like this?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
And it's black.
And it's black. That's right. But this high with a fucking mullet and no front. And then one day Dad brought home a bass clarinet, which was as big as me. So if you look it up, it's quite big, and I loved it because it just it sounded so much.
I play bass clarinet.
Oh really?
Yeah, I played it in high school and college.
Yeah,
and
so you know what's up. Yeah,
I
yeah.
still have one. I have a bass clarinet
Oh,
in my
really?
closet over there. Yeah, it
Yeah,
needs some.
I loved it.
Way cool.
I'm fixing up, but yeah, I love
Yeah.
that instrument still. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
So I used to enjoy playing that more. And then as far as listening to music as well, I started with like big band stuff, swing, Duke Ellington, Benny Goodman, all that sort of stuff through my dad and my grandpa and stuff like that.
Totally.
My grandpa, I never heard him play, but apparently he was an amazing like ragtime piano player. And it's
sick.
Just, you know, I remember asking him while he was still alive, you know, oh, do you ever play? And he never did. So you know, it ran through the family for sure.
I have a connection with ragtime just because my grandma. That's who was.
Yeah,
that was the first person that I played piano with, like sitting
yeah,
side
awesome.
by side with somebody and playing the low end of her high end. You know, and ragtime was what she would teach us. And so when I hear ragtime, even though it's usually associated with like, I don't know what, like comedy or whatever, but it's just like there's it gives I don't know, just the nostalgia maybe.
Yeah, exactly.
A little more potent to me.
Yeah, exactly the same. But yeah, then after that, so I would have been like 10, 12, around that. I remember my cousin coming down to visit from the big city, and she'd bring cassettes with like all the you know latest stuff she'd recorded off the radio or whatever, and so I was hearing stuff through that. Silverchair was a big one for me.
Oh, they're Australian, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So they were sort of like, oh wow, these guys are angry and loud and stuff, and my parents were like, oh, I don't know about that. I loved it.
Real quick, Robin, do you remember the song, the last one on Frog Stomp, like, or was it the last one? I don't know, but like Madman or something? It was like an instrumental song, and it was like super heavy and like
yeah. That's right. Was it Frog Stomp? I can't remember.
And at the end, it goes like Madman. Whatever. Yeah, that was like a heavy song. I used to cover it when I was like in junior high.
Is that the white cover one with the frog on the front?
The frog on it.
Yeah, the green frog. That was
that album's good.
Yeah. And then so I think Freak Show was their second one, and that one had some heavy stuff on it. I was like, oh wow, this is awesome. I was just
they were kids. Another like we pre-pod we were talking about like Decapitated being young and doing stuff. They were like 14 or something. Yeah. They were children.
And touring with Red Hot Chili Peppers and doing all this sort of shit. And you're like, oh man,
God.
So, one of those situations where you're like, they were probably too young to do that sort of stuff because the main dude got pretty fucked up mentally from it all, you know, touring and stuff like that at that age and stuff. It was like off in the deep end too soon. Too much.
Oh, that singer! I watched a documentary on him a couple months ago about like where he's at now and like was it like drugs and shit that he got involved with or
heaps of stuff.
Yeah.
And then like physical stuff and
that's right. And anxiety. He was like very anxious. Yeah, I remember watching that. Yeah. Real quick, Murray asked where because he's in Australia. Where are you in Australia right now?
Where am I in Australia? So I'm about 150 k's out of Sydney. So sort of in between Sydney and Canberra. Just way out in the bush, middle of nowhere. The town I live in has 600 people in it and stuff. So
you being raised in like that farm kind of community, are you still doing farming work as far as work?
I used to. I used to do help mates with firewood and fencing and all that sort of stuff. And then I was doing gardening as well and all that sort of thing.
What were you guys farming mainly?
Most of the stuff around here is like cattle for meat and stuff like that. So just usual things.
I've gotten grass-fed beef from Australia plenty of times.
You get the good stuff. Apparently, we send all the good stuff to you guys. We get the dregs. Don't know how that works.
America.
Yeah.
Speaking of the good stuff, I'm going to talk about real quick. I saw Robin. You were like. And this is gonna sound weird, and it's meant in the best way. You had your like shirt off, and I was like, you were the most cut. Like I saw like the fibers of your muscles.
That's right.
I was like, I didn't know Robin was that. I thought because I remember you kind of being like more thin and skinny, And one time you took your shirt off and you're just like hacking wood or something. I'm like, that's fucking Robin's a murderer. Like, you were like the most cut human I've ever seen. Like you and Dan Preslin from Niebla Scarius.
Yeah, he went hard.
Yeah, I saw him and I was like, Jesus, like both like fucking Australian drummers are just eating that, that real shit.
that farm raised shit's just
that farm raised
shit. Push-ups.
Forge and push-ups. Good.
I think it sort of comes with the territory, really. Like either you stay fit and healthy with this shit, or you injure yourself and you're out. So because I mean, Dave Haley was the same. I remember he was running like fucking 20K runs and stuff every morning at 5 a.m. and stuff. I'm like, that is so impressive. Like, what the hell? Just that drive and dedication to.
And I'm stoked when I walk for a half an hour before breakfast.
Give yourself a pat in the back and a donut.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. So anyway, go back. Yeah. So Silverchair, all that sort of stuff, and then I think around 1998, because I obviously wasn't interested in playing clarinet anymore. I think my dad was like, "All right, well, do you want to play guitar or drums?" And I was like, "Oh, let's do drums." So I think my grandparents paid for my first drum kit, and like I still remember that day. It was like the best day, driving 2 hours up to Sydney, picking out this beat up old piece of shit Pearl export kit, and then driving home with it in the car, and then setting it all up and figuring it all out. And I think I had it in a caravan that we towed onto the property and just sat there. And then I remember Dad coming down because I had Sony Walkman cassette player and I had saved up for batteries, and I used to put earplugs in and then the headphones over top and just play. I remember Dad coming down one day. He was like, "Do you want to give it a rest? It's been 4 hours." So they would just listen to me suck for 4 hours, miss every fill, fuck everything up. So I think I just zone out and just play and play and play. So
there's nothing like that drive with the parents or something when you finally get that instrument or something you've been staring at and like you want. Like that's like you said, you'll never forget. Like that's literally might be one of my favorite days of my life. Like going to drive down. Totally. Yeah. What do you think, Casey or Anthony? But that drive, it's like so nostalgia. It's like literally my like one of my like nice piece of bacon.
Oh, nice.
Mike. Give me some bacon.
That's awesome.
No, but that
yeah,
I see him getting a hand off in the background.
I've been enjoying the smell the whole time.
Oh, this is crazy. Who's going to bring me bacon?
I know.
It's the Bacon Death podcast. This is awesome.
Oh man.
Good.
Dude.
Yeah. Going back to that, that's like, that feeling and that warmth. Sorry, I know.
Yeah.
Of like getting your first like kit or something, it's like
first
or getting
instrument. And,
yeah. And then because I remember my dad did the whole like, you want to play guitar? I was like, or drums or guitar, and I was like, or bass, and I was like, drums. He's like, all right, what else do you want to play? He's all psych. We have neighbors, so But then we went and got a guitar, and I was like, I learned a couple riffs on it, and just went. It was like from one of those starter packs, and went in the closet, but then I like had this itching to play again. I was listening to other music that had heavier guitar, and I was really into like wanting to get into it. And I was like just staring at guitar catalogs like all day. I would just stare at the same one. I would just stare at it all day long. And then finally, when I'd worked all summer and it was the time to go pick it up, I was just like, this is, and it was like way more expensive than I expected. And my dad's just like, well, fuck. And then he like snuck off and like talked to the person and they got it. And like, it was like, that was like literally the best, one of the top 5 days of my life, I would say probably.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's so good. Yeah, I still remember that. Yeah, just setting it up and just being like, this is mine. This I can do this. So
yeah.
Good. So I remember setting up on like books and folders, and like I had a little practice pad that was like one of those dolphin ones, and you smelt it and it just smelled so carcinogenic. It was like, what is this made of? Jesus.
Every time you hit it, it got stinkier.
Yeah, exactly. So I just hit that, hit play on that while the radio was on and stuff. But then, being able to walk down to this little room and your drum kit set up there, just like, what?
Yeah.
So good.
That's
so I had
awesome, man.
I had a bunch of cassettes my uncle had made me. It's like Beatles, Van Morrison. I had Radiohead stuff from another mate, and I just play along to them until the batteries run out or the tapes wear out. Just keep going. So
Robin, how old are you, dude?
I am 37.
Okay, yeah.
Right there, dude. I'm
So-
38. Well, I'll be 30.
Oh, there you go.
I'm still
I'm
the
39
oldest
in
one
19
on the
days.
class tonight.
Dude, how many times
Jesus.
this year did you be like, am I 38 yet? Or,
Yes.
You know? Fuck.
I spent all last year thinking I was 38, and then
Isn't
I had
that
my
weird how
birthday,
it
and I was
happens
like
at this
37.
stage?
I'm like, what?
I've had to have
Yeah.
people tell me my age. Like, I had to consult another human to tell me how old I was.
How long have I been around here for? Yeah, exactly.
I know. I kind of
you-
wish they would just abolish birthdays, just so like you just have to. If I'm gonna ask you, you have to like put out figure out like 1984. Okay, so
do the math every
I
time.
If we
am
did- Yeah.
because
If we didn't
like
have
the
birthdays,
number.
I guarantee everybody would forget.
Yeah, and because
I think
you
that it
you
would-
like, and
it would
also a lot of
dissolve.
humans like focus their whole identity on their age. You know, they're like. They're
Yeah.
like, oh, I'm this now. Fuck, you know, kind of like bums them
Yeah.
out. You
It
know,
would
it's like,
probably turn into like,
Oh, wait till you turn
are you a
40.
gray hair?
no,
or
no,
you're
no, I
not?
don't.
You
That's
know,
not gonna.
it's like,
I don't know. I'm gonna be
It's not
39
gonna
forever.
what?
if
I'm
you're
39
eight-
forever, dude. It's
Oh,
not
okay.
gonna happen.
Yeah.
I got a year.
We're
I got
done
a
with
year.
birthdays. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Saying like, what if we did abolish birthdays and then down the road, hundreds of years, how would
be-
people like compare themselves in how long they've?
Probably.
I mean, the word age would go out. You know?
Yeah, yeah.
You can always join this.
probably live longer.
Religion
How
that
close are you to
accelerate.
decline, like demise?
You'd
Yeah, that-
you'd live longer because you probably weren't stressing about like, oh fuck, I'm this.
Yeah.
right.
You know, you wouldn't
I
be
think
like all
that's right.
stressed out about age. You know, like so you might live longer. By
I think
a
that's
couple
true,
years.
dude.
What who's
I think
measuring?
that- yeah,
It's like it's all relative, man. It's like
I haven't even gotten
you
high yet,
you
guys. I'm
know.
gonna start getting high and see what else we talk about.
I can prove that Anthony is lying about what he just said.
I should say recently. I haven't gotten
We
high.
were hanging out with
recently.
Nate from Ontogeny, and
Oh, yeah, we-
Jesus.
That's another
things
shout
happened.
out, dude.
He showed
And
us new Ontogeny. It was great. It's sick.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Nate's a freak of nature.
And sorry to steer it away from you, Robin, for a second, but I just wanted to say that, yeah, I wanted to give a true shout out to Nate from Ontogeny. We had a great dinner tonight. We had a great conversation.
Yes, we
Yeah,
did.
like Casey said, we got to hear some really, really cool fucking music that Nate and Keith have been working on. I think he said 6 songs in already for the new album, dude. And I've been pumping that band ever since we started this show, dude. And I'm going to continue to pump that band, dude, because Ontogeny, Anomalous, you know, shout out Max too. Those guys, they're creating some great stuff, and they always are consistent with their shit, dude. And I love that.
And back when me and Robin were touring, there's a ton of pictures of me on tour back then. Just Ontogeny was like the only shirt I would wear. It was like this gross. I was like, I need to back them. I need to fucking like show them because I remember just watching him
Well, it
jam
goes
in front
back
of me
to,
and
like-
being like, gee, like blown away. You know?
It goes back to Pillars when he was. It was like we knew him from Anomalous first, and then he's like, "Hey, check out this other thing that I'm doing, Ontogeny," and I still have that physical copy. It's one of those cherished gems that I treat just as meticulous as all the other ones that are like worth money right now. Like Pillars needs to be. I don't want to scratch that CD. It's just one of those things that I gotta have preserved in my collection, you know.
I'm jealous that
And-
you kept so many of those old albums in good shape.
right.
Yeah.
And
That's something I want. You know?
I know I just like, yeah, I took that collector mentality came at a very young age, you know, because I just like loved music
Coins.
and I loved art so much. And
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you put it into the coin thing right now. It's the same excitement that I get from
Yeah, yeah.
that. It was what
Yeah,
I
I
was
could tell.
getting from the music and the art and the books and the films, and that's all when I die, everybody's gonna be like, what the fuck, dude? Like, I have to sell off all this shit. Like, how many copies of David Lynch fucking movies do you need? Why did you need it in DVD, Blu-ray, and 4K or whatever? You know, it's like I just needed to have it all, dude.
Yeah. I mean, the same thing. It's kind of like the coin kind of looks like a CD in a case.
Yeah, it's like a mini version.
It's a
It's a
circle
CD
with a
that
square thing around it.
it's a CD that I could put in my pocket, dude.
Yeah, and your Instagram.
One of the 3 photos that I have.
But anyway,
take it away
yeah.
from me.
No, so Robin, so you got that kit and stuff. So you started. So you were working on like Van Morrison, Beatles, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
when did you start? Did you start jamming with people like soon after?
Well, all my brothers and sisters played the instrument. I remember one rare occasion where, like, my sister played bass, brother played violin, and all that stuff, and they all sort of came down and we jammed for a bit, and they were like, "Oh yeah, this is cool," and I was just having the best time ever jamming, like playing with other people for the first time. And then they were like, after 20 minutes, they're like, "Yeah, okay, we're done. See ya." And I was just like, "No, let's keep going all day."
Yeah.
So it was that I knew something was, up there, and I was like, "Oh wow, that's the most fun I've had ever." So it was, doing that sort of stuff. And then another thing I noticed or realized recently, thinking back to that time, was, so I was like 11, 12, and I was listening to albums, and I was listening to actual sounds on the albums. Like, oh, wow, I really like that snare drum sound on this Van Morrison track, or I really like how the cymbals sound on this Beatles track and things like that. And so I guess I was listening really critically back then, without even realizing I was doing it. Instead of going, "This is nice music," I was picking stuff out, and then I'd go and try and tune my snare drum to mimic the sound of that Van Morrison track or whatever. So I guess, I was a lot more involved than I realized back then.
Right.
Listening to it and stuff. And then, we moved from the farm out to the bush around 2000, and met some local people around here, and jumped in like a psychedelic punk band.
Nice.
Called, what was it called? Frog Hollow or something like that. And I remember,
sounds about right.
Yeah. My first ever experience playing loud music was went to this dude's garage, and he was just like, "How you going?" I was like, "Hi." And he had these Wasp. I don't know if you know Wasp amps. They're Australian. They're like huge things. Like, and he had just had a wall of them in the back of his garage. And he just turns them all on. Same thing you were saying before, Joel. Everything up. Full. Just goes clang, and I nearly fell off my drum throat. It was so loud, and I was just like, "This is live music."
Yeah.
What? Oh man! I remember looking at my snare and hitting it, and not being able to hear the snare, and just like, what is going on? So, because this dude was older and stuff, and in the 70s or whatever and stuff. So that was a trial by fire for sure. I remember going to this audition and taking one pair of sticks, and I snapped one of the sticks in like 5 minutes because I couldn't hear it. It was like the first stick I'd ever broken. I'm just like, this is crazy. This is absolutely not what I was expecting. So I did that sort of stuff for a few years, just playing locally. So that would have been like 2001. I think my first ever gig with a band was 2001, which is a while ago now, if you think about it.
Right. So you're probably what, like 16, 15?
Yeah. 15, 16. And it's funny because on Instagram and social media now, people are like, "Oh, who's this new guy popping up?" And I'm like, "I've been doing this forever."
I know.
Just because you found me last week, I haven't just been like,
Right.
I haven't just popped up. So, but it's the same with everyone, I think.
That's great.
Right.
So doing that was awesome. And then, the best story. All right. So in Australia, we used to have a late night radio program called 3 Hours of Power, and people could request shit. And I used to record it on tape because it was just all metal stuff, and they'd play Pantera and all the usual shit. But then right at the end of the night at like 2 a.m, they'd throw in a few like super heavy stuff. And I was lying in bed listening to it, and somebody requested Blood Churn by Suffocation. And it started, and I was like literally scared. I had to go and turn the light on in my room because I'm like, what is this? It was, and I was like, check the cassette. I'm like, please make sure we've recorded this. Please make sure I didn't run out of tape for this. And I listened to that song. Like, you know, when you listen to a song so much, you've got no idea what the lyrics are, but you've listened to it so much, you just have your own lyrics that you think they're saying.
Yeah, definitely.
And then you actually read the lyrics years later and you're like, oh, that's not what Frank was saying at all. But it was that point, like I'd memorized my own lyrics to this song because I just listened to it so much. And I was like, what is that drummer doing? Because that's Dave Kohlross on that album, isn't it?
On
pretty sure. The Despise the Sun EP?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Man, what amazing.
So that
EP
was
that.
wait, I'm confused. This are we fast forwarding here? That was your
So
first
this is about
intro to
early
extreme music?
2000s. Yeah,
That
early
was your
2000s.
first intro to extreme metal.
Yeah. So, you know,
Wow.
everyone else is
Jesus.
Slipknot and Mudvayne.
You
and
hit
all
the
those
fucking
things.
lottery right there, bro. That was like the best fucking EP you could find.
I
in
know.
extreme metal.
Yeah. And
Death
some
metal.
random dude requested it at 2 a.m. on this radio station. I was just
Wow.
like, what? So good. So, you know, I used to really like Mudvayne, like
Hell
the new
yeah.
metal thing. Their first
Still
album,
do.
still to this day, that is a
LD50
cool
will
album.
always
Man.
be. I've already cited it probably in a recent episode, but that album will always be dear to my heart.
Yeah,
dude.
absolutely. Like a bunch of good musicians doing cool shit.
Yeah, that bass player is phenomenal, dude. What's his name?
and the drummer's just basic stuff, like flipping the beat around, you know, putting the kick on the snare and vice versa.
Yeah, that
and
rhythm
just
section.
Like, what? So
That's
good.
what I'm saying. So I
good.
think that like it's like the rhythms. I don't want to go on a tangent on this, but the rhythm section is very important to me now, and it wasn't as it. I didn't realize it was as important to me back then because I'd always be listening to vocals, guitar, and obviously a little bit of drums, but I would never be paying attention to bass really. But Mudvayne also, like the way that album is mixed, it's right in your face.
Yes.
Like, you can't get away from the bass on that album.
No. And like the organic drum sound on it too, like, you know, it sounds natural. And then I remember listening to it and going, what is that sound? That wow. And then, you know, after a while you're like, oh, that's the bass. Like, holy shit, he's doing all that stuff. And that's some sound to it. You're like, oh, I get it now.
Joel,
so
you met
good.
him. What's his name? I can't remember the bass player's name.
Yeah, Ryan something. Ryan Martini. That's his name.
There's other like jazz fusion thing that he had been doing one.
Him and Nick Shangelis from Cephalic Carnage and him were like jamming around or do something. Yeah, they were doing something. I forget.
He really opens up in that project, and you really get to see the full spectrum of that dude.
What was it? Is it Soften the Glare he was doing as well? Some proggy thing as well.
I think that
might be the one that I'm thinking of.
Yeah,
Robin. I think what Robin's saying is the one that I'm thinking of. Soften the Glare. Yeah.
No, it's that one where he's like, it's him just doing the kind of prog, kind of slappy shit, funky shit, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
But he seems like a really nice person. I don't know, but like I've always liked his.
He's tiny. That's one thing.
Oh, really?
I know. He's adorable.
Bless him.
Because in those in the Dig video, you wouldn't think of him as like a short man.
I know he's ripped as fuck, and he's got
the Dig video. Imagine who actually was shooting that video is laying on the ground. You know.
No, but
everybody playing over him.
No, he came in. He was super cool. Like he came in. I was working at Circuit City. We've told it many times, and he just walked in. And I was playing metal, and he's just all, "You like metal, huh?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he had a leather jacket with Mudvayne on the back that was all handmade.
Oh wow!
And I was like, "Okay, this guy's into Mudvayne a lot." I was like, "That's kind of gnarly to make a leather jacket over it," but
that's so
it's kind of gnarly.
Moved on.
I love that statement, dude. It's kind of gnarly to make a leather jacket over it.
It's like one time in Sacramento, I saw a guy that was like a Nickelback fanboy. He was in his car. Both of his brake lights had Nickelback brake. Like when you braked, it would just Nickelback would light up. He had Nickelback on the middle, like where his brake light on the back would light up. So it was just like Nickelback. It was like
it's the first I've ever heard, dude.
I know. And I was. Yeah, it was in Sacramento. I remember we were just like we drove by him, and I gave him the thumbs I didn't do this. I was like, fuck yeah, dude. Like,
He always put the thumb out. No, he did.
because you know he does that at shows. He's like, fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Thumb out. Thumb out, dude.
You gotta thumb out him, dude. Yeah,
out.
you gotta thumb out. But yeah, there's.
Nah.
I mean, I thought he was one of those guys. He was, you know, when I was a kid, I was, you know, I got a super fan of Korn, and I was like, had like a little shrine in my room of like only Korn stuff, and I was like, saw a grown adult with just like Mudvayne custom leather jacket, and I was like, oh Jesus. And then I'm always like, you in a band? I'm like, yeah, and I told him about ODS at the time, and then like, I was like, you in a band? I'm like, he's all, yeah. I'm like, what's your band? He's all, Mudvayne. And I was like,
Did you
oh,
flip
you're
around
fucking
and
the
be like,
bass player.
check it
Yeah.
out?
He just does like a spin, like a 360.
Yeah.
He just does a spin.
Oh, that would be fucking amazing if he did like a MJ twirl real quick and just turned around real fast. So
He like points at the back and spins. Then he's like,
He points only while his back's to. He just turns. He goes like,
Yeah.
"Bam!" It's like laser. Like, no, he was super cool. I actually just because we had just signed with Unique Leader, I think, at the time, and I was just trying to be like, dude, so you're signed to a big label. Like, what's it like? What do they do? He's all just trying to tell me the ins and outs of like, well, they give us 25,000 each, and when we sign, and it's all recoupable. And blah. He's just telling me like he gave me a lot of information and stuff, and I was like, "Damn, you guys!"
this was
made it,
follow up from LD50 when you met him, right? Or was it after that?
This was like 2006 or 7, so I don't know.
Second
And they had
was
a
like the
few.
end of all things.
Yeah.
or
Because they
some shit
straight
like
up
that.
just sold out after LD50.
Yeah, fucking sell.
I mean,
That's when they
there's
took that
some cool songs on
$25,000.
that next one too.
Yeah.
There's some pretty tech stuff on that next one, but after that,
Yeah.
in my opinion, they lost that essence that I
was so excited.
I respect them for whatever they did after that. You know, you do your thing,
Yeah.
but the essence that I felt from LD50,
The craziness
was
in
lost,
LD50 was, they really didn't do that again, I'm pretty sure. You
But
know?
I mean, to still have one album that could have people talking about it, like, you know, we talk about I know we're doing a long new metal thing for anybody who doesn't fucking like the new metal shit.
We do it every
Sorry,
episode.
guys.
I like.
Do it every fucking
It's okay,
episode.
Murray.
can't believe
We've
I
been
went-
talking about it.
I can't believe you guys are still talking about it. I was just going.
Yeah, Joseph
go for
came
ride on
back
your
and
bike.
still
Quite a
talking
while.
about new metal. Yeah.
All right, we'll stop.
Okay.
Do you think, real quick? I mean, now that we said that, nothing to do with new metal, but anything in general. So, I mean, new metal's a good example because that was a huge genre, and death metal's never been that big. But like, as far as like a band, you said they're like when people go like, oh, their earlier stuff's their best stuff. I feel like once it becomes like a chore to do an album for a band, that's when they kind of go down, rather than like their true want to be like, oh, this is gonna blow up, this is gonna be sick. Like, but when it becomes like, oh, they paid us, they're telling us we gotta get done now. It's like, it just seems like it just like a lot of bands. I think the reason why people say that a lot is based in a lot of truth. There's bands that come out with newer stuff that people just still go like, no, old, fuck that, you know what I mean? But there's also like there's bands that just feel like they're kind of pushed, or they're like, oh, whatever, dude, we're fucking rich now, or no, semi-rich, and it's just fucking, it's just party, and then we'll write an album. I don't fucking know, you know what I mean?
They lose that hunger and stuff, the end of contract albums and stuff,
exactly.
and you're just like, I don't know.
Yeah,
And the thing is, everyone can see through that because you know, people unanimously agree this was good, this was good. They lost it here. This is garbage. Like, you can't pull all over people's eyes like that.
But then when people like, I think there's a lot of bands that do a little comeback because they're like, this is good, this is good, this is garbage, and then people are like, they're garbage now, and they're like, we're not garbage. We're gonna come back and show them what's in. That kind of gives that drive back a little bit, kind of like, yeah. I could see that, you know, just kind of like the human drive factor, rather than like, we've made it and fuck it, you know, like So
it's those bands that just do that endless cycle of album tour. It's just like, you know, they've got a shelf life before it's just like, well, you know.
It's like Metallica will do an album and like there's like a song like that's, you know, bless their heart. That's good. I like that. You know, I like what they're doing. But it's like then you compare it to like Call of Cthulhu or something, like songs that they've done before, and you're like, all right, you guys spent like 19 minutes on this. So could you
I think it's cool when big bands like that they'll have like a cool attitude about it. Like they're like, here's the new stuff, and if you tear it apart or don't like it, they're like, yeah, we tried, or like whatever.
And it's like perfect example, you know.
Yeah,
dude. You know,
I mean,
like,
good on them for doing that shit.
One band that I hate to say that, okay, so like take like Iron Maiden and Judas Priest. Like I use those as examples too, and like I feel like Judas Priest, like Firepower or whatever, like a recent one that came out, like was like pretty good. You know, like I was like, wow, that's actually pretty decent. Or like
For sure.
certain bands that I'm like I thought the Black Sabbath 13 album was actually there's some songs on there that are actually pretty rad. But like, and I was impressed they could do that at this stage. But one band, and as much as I love this band, I feel like that they're a little weird about is Iron Maiden, dude. Like I don't know if you've seen all the, and I'm a gigantic Iron Maiden fan, but like
Totally.
with the new stuff, they're very like pushy. Like it's like we don't want to do all the old songs, like we want to always do new, or like we want people to like it. But it's like, well, then write a sick new
Rush
album.
did that. I mean,
Like,
Right, a sick new album.
Like it's not good. I don't know what to say. Like I've tried so many times all the new. It's just I don't know. Maybe I'm tripping, but dude, the new Maiden is not. What's that?
The bar is pretty high with them.
Yeah,
Sorry.
the older you get, the more jaded everyone is anyway. You
Yeah.
know, like my favorite bands from young, I'm like, everyone's saying their latest album is great, and I'll listen to it. I'm like, yeah, it is great, but I'm not excited about it. Like, I
Yeah.
used to be. Just, you know,
This is my only time I'm gonna listen to it. This is like the first and last time I listen to it, but it's good. It's good.
Yeah, they did all right. Good on them. So yeah, exactly. It's just how it is.
Yeah. I know.
all right, so back on you, Robin. So
All right.
Let's, so I know I'm gonna use it just as a reference point. I'm not bringing it up again, guys. Mudvayne LD50 was a thing, and then you moved on from that. That was a stepping stone. That was like a key moment.
That was it. So, and then
area.
I remember going over to a friend's place, and they had LimeWire. Do you remember LimeWire?
Oh yeah.
Downloading shit. You just download viruses, and then maybe you download a song if you were lucky. I remember going on there and seeing on some forum or something about this band, Hate Eternal. So this is like 2003, 2002.
Yeah.
And downloaded, what was it? Catacombs off their first album.
Or Conquering the Throne.
Conquering the Throne.
Conquering
the Throne. Yeah, downloaded Catacombs.
Yeah.
And the same thing, just listening to it over and over and being blown away and just having no idea what the drummer was doing, but it was the most intense sounding thing I'd ever heard. And, you know, just getting chills every time you listen to it. And still to this day, when that song comes on, I'm just like, yeah. Instant nostalgia hit, and it's just like so good.
That solidifies Tim Young in a very high spot in our minds. Still to this day, you know.
He was a child. He was like 18, 17 when he did that, right? Wasn't he? Super young.
Well, he was on.
We did the demos.
It was your podcast I was listening to.
Okay.
He was on.
Okay.
He was on.
Yeah, he was. Yeah,
Dude,
yeah.
by the way,
sorry. Yeah, he
was talking about. I was gonna say real quick. By the way, So the demo they recorded for that was like either 96, 97 or something.
97,
like that. Yeah, and there's a song on there, Messiah of Rage, that like I think is a sick ass song, and I don't never heard it
on the album, huh?
I don't know why. It's like just super badass, dude. Like, check that out. It's on YouTube.
Ooh,
so.
I have to check that out again. I downloaded it years ago because it's impossible to find physical copies of that.
Conquering the Throne is still one of the best.
Man.
I think. Yeah,
it's just like a warm blanket.
Warm blanket. Yeah, I mean, everybody has and then Doug Cerrito tucks you in. It's like,
I know.
You're like, what? You're like, it's the best album.
Yeah.
Spiritual Holocaust. Before even knowing that, like, this, you know, parts of those songs were written during his time in Suffo, really, right? Like,
there's a few songs that Doug wrote.
Spiritual Holocaust is definitely
one
that you, when you listen to it, it's like, oh yeah, dude, for sure this could just be a Suffo song. Just put Frank on vocals, and it's a fucking Suffo song.
There's Catacombs is the same, I think. Yeah, Catacombs, just that choppy low end riff. He's like, it's like, yes, classic.
I love it so much, dude.
Yeah. Is he still doing anything? Does anyone know?
Or I haven't heard of anything. I mean, he might have something that he's doing. You know, I would think that somebody like Tim Young is at least still playing constantly in some fashion. You know, I don't know what he's up to, but with the I Am Morbid thing, it's not him, right? No.
I thought you were talking about Cerrito.
Oh,
Yeah, Cerrito.
sorry. I thought we were
Yeah,
talking about
Cerrito. Yeah,
Young.
Cerrito.
My bad, dude.
We've tried to get
I'm-
Cerrito on a couple times. That's like our
Oh,
one of
okay.
our main
Yeah, we
things that we
tried,
want to get on.
but-
Yeah, yeah.
Nah, really.
We're probably gonna keep. We're probably just gonna
Anybody-
keep trying.
Anybody
Let's keep
listening?
trying, yeah.
Anybody listening who might have a little lead on that for us, please.
No, we
Yeah.
do.
What's our
Yeah,
email,
no, we definitely
Joseph?
do.
Excellent. Get him on there.
Just Cali
Yeah.
Podcast at gmail.com works, I think.
Boom. There
Yeah,
it is.
awesome.
If we get a phone
yeah,
call
it was-
with him, I'm down. Like,
Hell yeah.
just a phone call.
Yeah. Just
Yeah,
a
come on.
From, yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
Love you. Okay, bye.
oh yeah,
I know,
I
right?
don't even know. He's got like he's got probably a thick New York accent, right? You know, from that area. I don't even know what he sounds like.
From
I don't even know what he
Yeah.
sounds like. I don't even know
Is
what he
he
talks.
That's a good
Origi-
excuse to get him on for sure. Look, we
I
don't know
know,
what
I
you
know.
sound like.
We just wanted to
come
hear
on
what you
for
sounded
it.
like as a person, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Literally just the sound of your voice, dude. All right. It was good having you, dude.
Yeah,
Later.
thank you. Oh man, so good. But yeah, those early Suffo albums, Pierce from Within
yeah.
and stuff, are
It's
just
forever.
like,
Forever.
yeah,
Forever,
amazing, amazing. So yeah, then I was off down. But the thing is, being in Australia and before streaming and stuff like that, if you wanted to get an album or a CD, and you used to have to go to the like chain store, Sanity it was called in Australia. And you'd go in there to like my tiny country town, and they'd be like, "Oh, I'd like to order a Cryptopsy album," and they'd be like, "How do you spell that?" You'd be like, and then they'd be like, "No, we don't have it on the system." And I'm like, "Oh, can you order it in?" And then they just like type some shit. They'd be like, "No."
Yeah.
Okay. So like, I ordered King of All Kings, Had Eternal album,
Nice.
and it cost me. Like, this wasn't long after it was out. I think it cost me $50 back in 2002 or something. And it took 6 months to get here. I had to go in like every week to this fucking Sanity store and be like, "Is my album in yet?" And they'd be like, "No, Robin." They knew me by my name by then. So I'd just be like, "Hi, is it in yet?"
And here
So
we are,
frustrating.
guys, on this episode saying, "Oh, dude, kids these days they can get whatever they want." And we had access to Amoeba and Rasputin and all Tower Records, and Robin's over here having to fucking order shit that isn't even in the system over there.
No,
Yeah,
and
spend
wait
3
6
times as
months.
much, wait 6 months. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes
That's
you
almost
get lucky.
that's literally like that's equivalent to the like I used to have to walk barefoot to school in the snow. That's like the same thing. That's crazy,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Damn.
So yeah, then it was just off into the deep end with all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And then I remember sitting down at the drums trying to play my first blast beat and trying it, spending a day on it. And then I'm just like, maybe I'll just be a drummer that doesn't play blast beats because this is really hard.
Yeah.
Why play blast beats when you can play blast blancs, dude?
Exactly.
Blast. I fucked it up. Blast
A
blancs.
box.
I said blast blancs.
Oh man.
Oh
yeah,
my god.
So
Wah,
you were off blasts for a little bit there.
For about a day, and then the next day I went behind the kit and I'm like, obviously I just need to keep doing this. And then like learning Fear Factory kick patterns, demanufacture and stuff.
Oh,
I could
totally.
only do those kick patterns if I rode like 10Ks to work at the vineyard and then rode all the way back, and then my legs were like warmed up on the bike ride and I could sit down and play like demanufacture and stuff. I'm just like, I can only do it then.
Yeah.
So even then I was like, I have a lot
what
of work
muscles
ahead of
get
me.
worked out the most with those types of drumming? The is
Well,
it calves, and
it sort of changes with the tempos and stuff. But for that sort of stuff, I remember it was all calves and ankles and stuff like that. So I used to ride my bike only with my toes on the pedal. So I had to work harder to make all my ankle muscles work and shit. And then, I was like, I'm just going to build it up that way and stuff. So
smart move.
yeah, I think back then it was the only thing I was smart about. Everything else is a complete fucking mess.
But like bike calisthenics in general, like it always feels so good on your legs to ride a bike, and it was so
Yeah.
helpful for warming up for drums. Exactly, I remember that.
Yeah, exactly. And you figured out what you needed to build on and what muscles were important and stuff like that. So, but you know, you just sit there and you put on like Nile CDs and stuff, and you try and play along, and you just realize how far behind you were on you know, all that sort of stuff, and how much work was involved to try and, you know, get to that point. You're just like, oh man.
Yeah.
So it was like real eye-opening sort of thing to knuckle down. And there's that thing when you first start playing fast drums, so many drummers do this. They train their limbs, but your ears take as long to train as your limbs do. So people think they're playing way faster than they are, or think they're way better than they are, because they literally can't hear what they're doing. Like your ears have to be able to adjust and adapt to all these stupid fast tempos. That's why when people go in the studio for the first time and they think they're shit hot, and then listen back to the tracks, and you can hear yourself clearly, and you're like, oh, wow,
yeah.
Maybe I'm not that good after all. And that happened to me like hard the first time I went into the studio. I was just like, oh, that's what I sound like. Like,
Yeah.
damn. So there was always that drive to, you know, keep improving and stuff. And then, of course, in about 2006, meeting Dave Haley and seeing him play, 2005, 2006, because I offered to go and help play drums in the Amenta, and that was Dave Haley's other band, but he was often, you know, on tour with Psychroptic and stuff. And I just was like, I wasn't like trying to take his job. I just was hungry for any opportunity I could get.
For sure.
Especially growing up, you know, in a country town and stuff. It was just like, oh, there's nothing here. No one knows what this sort of music is. But, you know, so I went up and tried out for them and stuff, and thinking, you know, oh yeah, pretty good, pretty decent, done a lot of practice, you know, pulling the songs off okay. And then Dave was there at the same time, and because he jumped on the kit to rehearse the songs as well. And then sitting behind him and just being like, oh, right, so that's how drums are meant to be played. It was such an eye-opening thing. Because, you know, you guys all love Psychroptic and stuff, and the first album and stuff. Like, they were light years ahead. It was the same with like the Decapitated thing. It was just like just another league of playing going on there. Just that weird brothers thing, you know, just like locking in, just like, wow, okay, so that's the new standard and stuff.
They're going on tour with Decrepit Birth now in
speaking
America.
of which,
oh, cool.
I remember when we met Matt before I was in Decrepit, and we recorded the first Odious album in 2004. And we met him, and it was like March 2004. And he was like, there's two bands that you guys need to hear that you've never heard of, that like, or we hadn't really heard of them. And he was like, they're going to change everything. They're like the most insane. One was Necrophagist. He like showed us. He'd never heard of it, you know? It's like, here's Putrefaction or whatever, or what is it?
Onset of Putrefaction. Yeah.
And then he was like, and then Scepter of the Ancients was the other one too. And we just heard it. We're just like, how is that drummer doing that? Like, what?
That's
those
such a
feet,
great
dude? Like, what the hell?
And the one thing about like Scepter of the Ancients too is like you can tell there's a human in there. It's like
So
there's like little mistakes if you want to get nerdy about it, but they're not mistakes. It's like it makes
they're
it
my
real.
favorite. Absolutely,
totally.
I want mistakes in albums, man. That's the best.
And being exposed to the Unique Leader like roster at that time too. You know, you got your Deeds of Flesh, you got your Pyemia, you got your Spawn of Possession, and then all of a sudden, or Decrepit Birth, Brutus, all these different things that were going on right there, and then all of a sudden, this one standout thing. Every aspect of that band stood out to me, aside from every other band on the Unique Leader roster, and it was like the best versions of those people putting something really unique out on this California-based record label from across the planet, you know, but like chalky on vocals, like still to this day. I mean, why isn't that man being talked about more? To me, I mean, I know we got like a Travis Ryan style, which he definitely gets his flowers for how unique his style is on all the cattle shit. But I'm like, Chalky was over there so different than anything that I had ever heard. Still to this day, like I can't really find somebody who had that like those like old man vocals that he had, like the kind of like
Yeah,
like
I know what you're talking about.
old. I don't. I can't do it.
I would uncomfortably laugh when I first heard him because he would do things like he's all do things like that, and I'd just be like with my friends going like,
what?
like
I remember
it's kind of
a few albums. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
But
like
when you
Lord
look
Worm.
back
It's like
on
Lord
it-
Worm just going like, he's all, wait. And like, you know, but it's like it's legendary because when it came out, no one had been doing that. But like I remember, like we used to have like like me and Derek Ridquist had like in our jam room had like a huge like Lord Worm like poster, just like the skull in his, and we just like would not walk in, and we just like kind of start laughing every time we saw it because we were like, he's sick, but it's funny, dude. I don't know.
It's crazy, yeah. I remember buying Mayhem's De Mysterious Dom Satanas album and putting it on and being so excited. And then the vocals started and I just like slowly turning the volume down in case anyone else heard. I love that album now, but it's such a shock. You're like, this is not what I was expecting. It's just like, there's some albums like that. You just like, they just take you by surprise.
It's like it's like you're down, but like you don't want to like you don't want to explain to other people why you're down.
I know, yeah. There's other people in the house, and they're just like, "What is going on?"
What's funny
like,
how
it's an extreme metal, and like I don't know, like these are the more extreme
there's
ones.
no way to explain
It's a
it,
form of
dude.
expression. It's fine. Yeah.
It's like it's funny how the vocals over extreme death metal music like are the thing that's like the most crazy to people, you know, and like the music already, like you could show them with like no vocals on it, they're just like, whoa, that's pretty nuts. But like once the vocals come in, they're just like the average person.
Red flag.
Recently, like
don't understand it.
And he was doing like a test vocal track, like, and he like sent it to me, and I was like hanging with my girlfriend, and like she's heard death metal. Like the first two bands I showed her were Hate Beak and K9. It's like, you like animals, right? So, but she doesn't really get the like death metal thing, you know, and she laughs, but she's down and stuff, you know.
Yeah.
But I was like sitting, and I just like I'm like standing in the living room, and we're like working on something or whatever, and I just like it was just an isolated vocal track of Anthony like growling like crazy. It just comes at full volume on my
out
phone.
of context.
We're like in the middle of a work day. We were just like met in the hallway. Hey, how's it going? And it was just like, and I just started laughing out loud. I was like, oh, I was like turning it down. And she was like,
good to know your audience.
It's so
it's funny.
yeah,
Every
it's
couple of
alien.
years, though.
Yeah.
Every couple of years, someone comes along and does that. So it's like you're saying, Travis Ryan, you know, went and did something unique, and everyone's like, "Whoa, that's so cool!" And then what's the
Lorna Shore guy?
Dude with the pink? Yeah. Like he's all the rage at the moment. You're doing all that sort of stuff. It just seems to happen. Like every now and then, something pops up and someone does.
I'll say
interesting.
Rainier Landferman's probably the most unique vocalist in the game.
From what band?
Still,
The Bethlehem guy?
Pavor from Bethlehem.
Dude,
yeah.
The Bethlehem vocals with him on it are probably like the craziest, raddest thing.
And
They're like
the shit
those
that he
actually.
does on
I
his-
will. They scare me. They're like scary.
Yeah,
I'm like scared because they're like it sounds like someone dying. Like, and they're like their album covers like them
probably
all
not
like
far
shooting
off of what
heroin.
he's going for, dude.
I'm like, I'm just like, okay, they shoot heroin.
I
like
mean,
they're fucking down.
Dead from Mayhem, he wanted to sound dead, dude. And there's certain parts where he's just like, you know, it's just like
he did a good job coming from his dad's like 7-story mansion because he was a rich.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's that rumor of was it Skinny Puppy, the singer from Skinny Puppy, was recording vocals, and you can hear him having an overdose on heroin on the vocal track or some shit like that. And just like,
Jesus,
that's pretty heavy.
That's more black metal than anything I've ever heard.
That's some dark shit that makes me really want to hear it. You know,
I
like
know.
know.
I'm like,
That's
I need to
crazy.
Google this and find
I'll
out what
Google
track it was and stuff. Yeah,
I didn't know that. That's
could just
insane.
be like
it's
hearsay
like those
stuff.
weird videos of like people like doing like meditation or like they're doing like they're perform or not performing, but they're doing a talk and then they just die at the podium while they're talking.
Oh,
You ever,
jeez.
or there was like a dude who was like doing like a spiritual thing and then he's just sitting there and you just see him just die.
Got a bit too spiritual.
Yeah, and you're just like,
Jeez.
whoa, dude.
Yeah.
He had a heart attack in front of everybody, and it's just like on YouTube, you know. It's chill.
You know what band I don't feel
Speaking
sorry
of
for is
YouTube, we do these. We put these episodes on YouTube
Nice.
the next day on Friday.
YouTube.com. Have you guys ever been
Yeah.
there? It's YouTube. YOUTUBE
DUV.
.org.
One word.
Yeah.
All
www.
lowercase.
Well, it's like when watching The Dirt and stuff like that with Motley
Shout out
Crue.
Jedi
like,
Grind.
what do you
Shout
say?
out Jedi Grind. What do you say?
YouTube.com.
Oh,
sorry.
YouTube. He was one of the first people.
Oh,
one
yeah,
of the
hell
first
yeah,
100
dude.
people at YouTube or something.
Oh yeah, dude.
But what's it called? Like people going like, oh, you know, like Motley Crue, they had it so rough. I'm like, no, they didn't. They got like the highest that you'll have. They'll feel better than you've ever felt in your life. They had sex with like 1,000 people. Like,
Yeah.
oh, like I don't like when I hear like, oh, they had a disease. Like, oh, that sounds like a fucking not a bad one.
There's
You know
no.
what-
What is it? What is the staying in nature? There's no free lunch or whatever. You know, it's like they're gonna
Yeah.
burn the candle at both ends. Eventually, it's gonna fucking catch up with them. You know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
They had their fun, dude. I mean, that's what you get.
It's like more fun than like most humans. I mean,
Yeah.
there's, you know, it's still
They
gonna
had
be
a
met
lot of other
by-
people's fun.
Yeah.
I mean,
They stole a
maybe
lot
if
of
you
people's
really want to
fun.
have that
It's
life
pretty
though,
fun.
dude, and not have that, you just jump into one of those crazy suicide pods, right? When you think that shit's getting crazy at like 60, you know, like where you start to feel
Go check the
arthritis.
Titanic.
The arthritis come in, blood pressure
Yeah.
medication, all that shit. You're like, all right, now all the shit that I'm gonna deal with because of that party life that I've had for so
You
long.
Anthony Bourdain it, basically.
Yeah.
How many
fucking-
divorces do you think Motley Crue's caused?
Probably like
Whoa.
16. I would guess it was like a healthy
16,
over under.
Probably more during the reunion tours than the original tours.
Oh, that's fun.
Because there's probably
A lot
there's
more
probably
now.
probably women that have been with their dudes at the new Motley Crue shows, and they're just like, oh yeah, I fucked blah blah, and they're like, what?
Yeah, they find out. It was in 1987 though, babe.
Yeah, it was, he was so nice, he was sweet,
The guy's
and then
just
I went to
thinking about it all night, like
then I went to Tommy and went to his room, and then it was not
Yeah.
that big of a deal, and it's like I just jumped around.
she's like, just enjoy the band, and he's just like,
Yeah, it's like fuck. Oh,
Hey,
it's-
good
oh,
money
girls
for this
is
ticket.
on. Sick.
yeah, he's all sick. Yeah, that's the song. Yeah.
It's all girls. It should have been girl for what you were doing then. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
But no, that's
Oh,
yeah,
man.
that's like one of those crazy lifestyles. I don't when people go like, oh, they're feel sorry for them, they're drug addicts. I'm like, no, not feeling
Yeah.
sorry for them. I can't do it. Every
It's
other
funny,
drug
it's
addict
like-
maybe.
People have asked me, like, just, you know, people who haven't ever done anything with music and stuff. They think, oh, you know, death metal dudes must be fucking crazy and breaking shit and get into fights and drugs
It's so
and stuff. And I'm like,
opposite.
nah.
Yeah,
Sorry, not like occasional. Yeah, there's some crazy shit that goes
You know
down,
why?
but like,
Music's
we're
Because we have an
hard.
outlet.
Music's hard. You got to play
Yeah,
next to
exactly.
other- like you can't be playing death metal stuff and like doing that
And
smash.
partying
And,
till-
you
No,
know,
it's pretty
Yeah.
simple. It's pretty. I mean, I've talked to a therapist about it. Not that I've gone to one, but I am. But I talked to a therapist. I was
That's all
like
good.
talking about. They were like, "Why are you so chill?" kind of thing. And I was like talking about metal, and she knew a bunch about metal. She's like, "I know a bunch of people that go to metal, like they're the like or go to metal shows or that are into metal. That's their fucking outlet. So they're usually way
Yeah.
chiller.
Mhm.
They usually have like they usually love harder. That's like she said all these things and these like facts and stuff like that. And I was
Totally,
like,
dude.
right, because we don't have to go punch a pillow. We don't have to like
Yeah.
yell into like scream, have these like techniques for anger release. Like we get it
Yeah.
when we just put on our headset and just listen to fucking the bands we love. It's like
Mhm.
Exactly.
we got it, you know.
I was
It's
like
a-
grocery shopping last night, and it's like, you know, who likes grocery shopping? It's the fucking worst. And I just was like, nah, headphones on, Cryptopsy album, and then You'll Beg, max volume. Before I knew it, I'd done all the shopping. It's just like,
Yeah,
sick.
yeah.
This is awesome. You just in
Perfect.
that little world, you know, you're just like,
Yeah.
yes, this
Right.
is so
No,
good.
And you're even like you're catching the parts of the album that you remember, and like you're rhythmically grabbing things in those tempos.
Yeah, there's all these memories tied to it and stuff, and
like fucking bananas.
It was like heavy parts that like get your your hair stands up, and
Exactly,
that's a release right there. You're just like, whoa, that's like a
Yeah.
pure from your brain release. No drugs involved, just like no anything involved. Just it's purely in your brain. It's just like you get it.
And
It's like
I love having 2 ears in. So if I ever
Don't-
were to see
I only have one
somebody
ear,
or
so-
possibly, sorry, dude, I didn't mean to offend you. And just like keep your head down, like so nobody wants to talk to you. You could just like, because I shop sometimes at a place where I might run into somebody from fucking high school, and then I got to do that conversation.
Oh, I dodged that.
We just had our 20-year reunion and shit, so it's like I gotta be like, what have you been up to for 20 years? Like that's a long conversation. I'm in here to go get some fucking frozen pizza and some broccoli and get out real quick,
Yeah.
And
don't want that.
Yeah. So
That's a technique,
2
though. That's a
years in,
technique,
dude,
though.
is that keeps people away from.
But you got to
like,
think
or
about the technique.
even rhythmically move, so you're just like listening
Yeah,
to
yeah.
music. So it's just like there's no way.
Don't
you
talk
can
to
get in
me.
here.
Yeah.
Well, I saw someone yesterday. There's two techniques that I know of. I saw someone yesterday that I've grown up with, and I just wasn't in the mood. Like I was going to Home Depot, and I like just saw them, and they're like, we're looking this way, and I was like, fuck yeah, they're looking that way. I'm gonna look this way. And like we're just gonna pass. And I was like, I just don't want to do it. I wasn't in the mood to talk to someone, so I was like, did that. That's one you could do. And I was like, it's up to them to be like, Joel, like if they want to do that, then I'll do it. Like, but I don't, I'm just putting it out there. I don't want to do it. Another one is just understanding that you're kind of in a rush. Just like look like you're in a rush. And I just be like, yeah, fuck yeah, what are you up to, man? Hell yeah, that's very cool. Well, fuck yeah, it's good to see you. It's good to see you is the best one to like just cut it out. Just be like, oh, Loves, I'm glad you're doing well, man. It's great to see you, dude. Hit me up on Instagram or something.
That's right. Pull out the calculator on your phone, just start putting numbers in your calculator. So good.
Yeah.
I wish there's a button you can hit that just like start a fake call coming to you. Like, oh yeah, oh shit, sorry, dude. I gotta.
Yeah.
Basically, just pull up your phone and adjust your little AirPod. Like no one's gonna bother you.
Yeah.
No, or just if you have your AirPods in, you can just be like, no, 1 second. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's really good to see you too, man. Like, you can do that too. Like pretend you're already on a call.
Yeah. So what else did you need me to get? All right, I'll talk to you later.
Yeah. Exactly. Or in Australia, you just go, oh, fuck off, mate.
Australia. I love Australia. They're just like, fuck off, you lovely cunt. I'll see you later.
Yeah, I love I love cunt is so much more easily used over there, and it has multiple meanings. I love multiple meaning words. Like I just love that.
You can use it
using
anything.
cunt for so many different things. I know. Sorry if that's offensive word.
It's like that meme people.
We're talking to dudes right now. It's like
it's not an offensive word in other
someone's
countries.
like fighting this like giant insect. They're like, meanwhile in Australia, they're like fighting it, and it just says "cunt" like or something. What is that meme? I gotta find that.
No, I love how cunt could just be like I don't think for you guys is it really like when you guys are trying to say something nasty to someone, you won't throw a cunt in there, right? Or will you?
It can be pretty brutal if you use it in the right context, but it can also be like, this is my best mate. How you doing? Love you.
That's awesome.
So it's just on the delivery.
Here it's like a big deal all the time. It's like, ooh.
I remember when we were over there, like all those guys were saying it, because I never used to say it much when I was younger.
Yeah.
But all the rest of the band we used it all the time, and anyone in America in earshot would just be like, what? Are they really angry or what is going on? I just couldn't figure it out.
Yeah, the girls don't really like that word over here.
Not so much,
That's the number one start a fight word. Yeah.
No, it's funny.
So, all right, now that you're, I know this is going to take it into a different thing, and I'm sure people who are listening, like, let's get back onto his music shit. But I want to know, because Australia is always known for like the crazy insects and animals and shit, dude.
Yeah.
Like, we talked to Dive How do you say
Dive.
it? How do we
Like you're diving.
A's
or
are
diving.
Yeah.
dive?
Yeah,
Haley?
dive
And,
highly.
Dive.
and I asked
No, they
I talked to
taught
him
us
about
that,
it.
dude. We've talked about it.
Yeah, so like you're
Dive.
diving off a diving board. It's
Yeah.
diving.
I'm like, well, you just. They told us how to. They're like, if you want to speak like in the accent, or like just one little tip, they're like, make the A like an I. Like
Yeah.
dive.
There you go.
Oh, okay.
I'm like,
Dive
oh.
highly.
Yeah, and I
You
was like,
ice
well,
hole.
and I asked them, I was like, what if dive dives into a pool? And they're like, what do you mean dive dives into a pool? Like, you know,
dive.
So how would you say Anthony then? Anthony?
Anthony. Yeah, how do you? I
No.
mean, no, that's not. It's. I think it's what's in the middle of the word. You don't like. You don't. If it starts with an A, you don't drop that I too hard. But it's in the middle. That's my guess.
You got to give it that row.
Yeah.
yeah.
Or Joseph Kai. Is
Yeah.
that it? Is that right? Joseph Kai, dude.
Joseph K. No, Kai.
Dave.
Anyways.
Dave K. It's all the same A, so it would be Kai, right?
I guess.
Probably.
I haven't
Sounds
heard
good
it.
to me.
I haven't been there yet.
Yeah.
I haven't
All
talked.
right.
I haven't had an Australian say my name back to me. So
How do you say deck? The wooden
All right.
structure around your
Crazy
pole.
animals or
Just a dick,
insect. Give us one crazy animal or insect encounter that you had in your life, real quick.
I remember when I was a kid, I was playing drums, and a black snake started like sliding under the stool in between my legs, and I was like up on the throne like that. So because on the farm there were heaps of snakes, so I was like, brown snakes, yeah, all right. Black snakes are okay. Brown snakes were the dangerous ones.
Mhm.
Okay.
They were aggressive and shit. And then out here, you know, you get Sydney funnelwebs, which are the huge, big, aggressive, black, ugly spiders. You just look at them, you're like, you're going to fuck me up. I don't even need to know what you are. You're going to fuck me up. But, you know, like I had a friend who was like, found one. He was working in a factory somewhere, and there was one on the floor. And it was like, you know, 4 or 5 decent paces away from him. And he just threw a little block of wood at it. And it was like instantly pounced. It's just like bang, 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 like attacking this block of wood. It's just like so aggressive. And if that's you,
Joel
yeah,
has a
you're
story.
dead. Basically,
so-
like, if you're not-
Wait, how big are those? Like, what would you compare it to? Like size?
they can get like, you know, decent size.
Damn.
But then you get little fat ones like that. But
Yeah.
if they look black and glossy and chunky, you're in for a bad time.
Eesh.
And then, like, the thing is, there's spiders everywhere. I used to work on a farm out here that grew Christmas trees, and every year we'd go and harvest thousands and thousands of these Christmas trees. And one year they were like, yeah, just be careful. They're all there's a huge outbreak of redbacks this year, redback spiders, which have the most like venomous poison in the world. They're just living in all the trees. But they're super docile and, like, you know, won't attack you or anything like that. So it's just like, this is interesting. Like,
Yeah.
you know, because we've been working at night, and like that farm cured any fear of arachnophobia I ever had, because they just be crawling all over you.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, don't get off, fuck off.
And they have the fangs to bite you, though, right?
Yeah. If you got bitten by a redback, it'll fuck you up.
I don't think
So-
it'd be very docile if somebody was cutting down my home. You know, I'd probably fucking want to fuck them up. You know.
Yeah, well, thankfully they're pretty chill, so they just sort
Yeah.
of like curl up into a little ball and hope not to get squashed. But yeah, so the thing is, it comes with the territory. It's like me thinking you have bears over there and stuff like that. I'm like, what the fuck? How are you
Right.
so cool with that? Like, you know, you watch
Yeah, yeah.
videos of them getting in people's cars and
That
swimming,
is
hanging out in
funny,
the
dude.
pool
I've
and
definitely
stuff.
I've camped in plenty of places where I'm like, food has to be stored a different
Yeah.
way there because of bears, and I'm just like, oh yeah, dude, it's chill. Let's crack a
It's
beer.
cool.
Let's fucking go. You know, do this, and that. We're camping, bro. Yeah. But
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
I've been like 5 feet of a bear once. I like opened because I was in Yosemite and I opened my door and a bear just walked right by me and I was like, what the fuck is going on? It was chilling though. It was just all like, what up? Like
Yeah.
it had no aggression, but it was just like walking through the campsite and I was like 15.
Wow.
Speaking of spiders though, Casey brought it up a little bit. And I've only posted it on my Instagram, but
Oh yeah,
last week, or no, week before, because I missed
2
last
weeks
week.
ago. Yeah.
2 weeks ago, the dude from Disruption, singer of Disruption. We were interviewing him, and all of a sudden I just see a spider just going light speed. I have this like big wide monitor, and it just like jumps and it goes from one end to the other in like a second. And I'm just like, oh shit, it's probably it's like this big. But it like goes over, runs across, and just jumps at my face like right away. It's like, and I'm not a big like spiders. I don't know. I've been bitten by them and had to go to the hospital, which is they're probably like, you fucking pussy. But at the same time,
that
like
was our clip
it looked
that
very
week, dude.
aggressive. Was
You're
it? Was
just
it?
like you were like, oh, there's
Oh,
a spider. Oh.
No, I just saw it. It just went like it just like fangs up and just jumped at me. And I was like, oh, this is a nightmare. And I'm in a dark room, and I'm like, it shows me just go like and just click out of the podcast. I'm like, I'm gone for like
I'm
15 minutes. I need to find this thing. I'm out, dude. But you guys were in
Yeah.
the middle of a conversation though, and I didn't want to like just like halt it. But
No, it's all good. I mean, it's just
squeal.
added to what we were talking about.
Yeah.
It's like
I'm such a
that was
bitch with spiders.
I asked him about an encounter. You just had a recent one 2 weeks ago, dude, and now you
Yeah,
have
on the
PTSD
podcast.
from it, dude.
No, I don't have. It doesn't change my outlook. I mean, if I see him, I usually try to save them.
I have
you know.
I have a
And I
pink
throw
toed
'em outside.
tarantula that hasn't eaten, dude. So it's trip.
Hasn't
We're
eaten
going
what?
into another
You go-
fucking
you're-
weeds, but with spiders, they don't eat all the time, dude. So it's not about just like, you could put a cricket in there every week and it'll just be like, fuck that thing, you know? And like 3 months later, it'll just be like, all right, I'll eat it. Not with the same cricket, obviously. You got to you can't just let a cricket cruise around the fucking cage.
Just sacrificing crickets.
But it's just weird that like all they need is water for like the longest time, dude. And
I just saw your shirt. That's the sickest shirt ever. Venetian snares.
hell yeah.
That's
Yeah, dude.
awesome.
Yeah,
I love
dude.
those guys. Absolutely
I
crazy.
recently lost a bunch of weight so I can get into my smaller shirts again, dude. And this was this is a shirt that I've had for years, dude. But yeah, shout out to Erland. I can't pronounce his last name, but he's
Casperson.
Casperson. He's winning in the Retromorphosis project with Casey. Did fucking Igor. He was on Spawn.
Wow.
Toured with Vile with us. So basically on that bloodletting tour that Deeds, Decrepit, Odious, and Vile did, we got to know Erland from being on the road, and at one night he showed me Venetian snares, and it just blew my fucking brain open, you know?
Yeah.
And ever since then, yeah, been a big fan and been rocking this shit. Actually, the camera probably shows how gray it is because I'm under I'm a high definition tonight, guys. This is probably, I don't know. I feel like Mike's offered this to me to do the show here all the time, dude. I'm like, it's only 10 minutes from the shop, dude. You know. If you
Well, I'm
hey,
gonna
Mike,
go ahead and say
I'll be
you should take 'em
It's
up.
a lot.
yeah,
It's a lot better, dude. Yeah.
It's much easier. It's all set up and nice, dude.
You got
Dude,
cool guitars in the
I get to hang
background.
out with the
Yeah, you
homies,
got
too.
like $50,000
I
guitars.
look like a musician.
Anthony, you're talking about trying to fit into small shirts, and I want to bring up at some point soon here the touring with you guys, Robin, and that's what we know you from back in the day. But if you remember Dan, the guitar player in Decrepit, the time,
Yeah.
Odious, Dan and Dan Eggers, and he used to wear these like really small shirts that he was like cut and just like would look fine in these small shirts, and it just looked like they fit him like totally normal. And like one time I went to the beach with him, dude, and my shirt got all soaked, and I was like, hey man, can I borrow a shirt or something? And like put a shirt on, and dude looked like a guy in a baby doll tee with a beer belly, dude. It was like, I was like, get this thing off me right now. Like I was like,
This made things worse.
I was like, no.
Remember when we squeezed a girl Vile?
Oh, Vile
on-
shirts. Yeah,
on
yeah.
the
That
Joel
was,
The girl.
and-
Oh yeah.
Dude, that
Yeah,
was at
Dan's
Dan's
brother's
house.
Oh,
Yeah,
in
yeah,
Brooklyn.
yeah.
I put on like a youth small or something, and like
That's so
it took
funny.
like a
Joel
half
did
hour
it,
to get
yeah.
off.
I got the opposite problem. My daughter wants to wear all the metal shirts, and there's none in like her
Yeah.
sizes. I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
you just have to wear it as a 90. Sorry,
gotta-
that's the smallest I got.
You got to check out Metal Dad merch, dude.
Hell
Oh,
yeah.
really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Shout out
Yeah.
Metal Dad Collective, dude.
Metal
I'm
Dad
Yeah,
on-
makes
Collective.
that's
baby stuff and
it's
or
a Facebook
young.
group that I'm
Oh, here,
in.
check this out. I'll be right back with something.
Do
yeah,
it.
that.
Nope.
Shit.
Go put on
Yeah,
a
dude.
He
big
comes
belt
back
shirt.
naked
Shout out-
again.
Yeah,
Shout out Derek McCubbin. Shout out Derek McCubbin.
Yeah.
He's
Derek's awesome.
that's
Awesome.
Metal Dad Collective right there.
Well, there
dude.
also too though. There's like I noticed with a lot of like shirts. Like if there's a band I love that's in Europe, I know I have to buy one size bigger for sure. It's gonna be like the sizes are different out there. So it's like I remember one time Theory in Practice, like one of my favorite bands, they released like a random like amount of shirts, and I got an extra large, and I was like, fuck yeah, it was a medium for sure. Like I was like.
Yeah.
Like stuck in
Damn
it, and I gave it to Carrie, and Carrie's like, I can't fit in that shit, and it was an extra large. So like, just knowing that there's like America, they're just like, dude, you guys are fat. XL is different.
Big boned.
Yeah, no, you get like there's this one website I ordered some clothes off of too because my fiance showed it to me, and it was like it's from China, so it's way cheaper. But like, you have to
look
get
at that.
shit. Oh yeah, nice.
Oh,
That's
dude, I
awesome.
was gonna. That's crazy. I was gonna wear that. Oh, you got a little fucking.
You're gonna wear that one?
Not that shirt. Not that
That'll cut some
size.
circulation if you wear it.
Just
That
to
looks
put
like
that
a
on, dude.
kid.
This is supposed to be for Azalea, Diego's daughter. But
Oh, cute.
Nice,
I just
dude.
have
That's
it.
the
So,
best.
yeah.
I mean, in reality, a baby like a onesie for a baby to violently vomit would be perfect because they do violently vomit.
All
Dude.
all
They
those
do.
kids,
Oh, yeah.
Ed's
Be a
kid,
new Metal
Diego
Dad
kids,
merch.
they all are decked out. Like the Slam kid, like parents dress their kids up in like TVV Discord shirts, like cephalotropy. There is like
Wow.
little kid cephalotropy merch. I swear to God, like
It's rad, dude.
That's
And
right.
they're good at it. Yeah.
and there's actually a Odious Mortem parody shirt.
It's like odious boredom or something, or
Yeah.
No, it's like I forget what it is.
something to
It's
do with
not-
like boarding your or having like boring your kid to go to sleep or something like
I
that, right?
forget, but
Yeah.
he does
Yeah.
parody style stuff like that.
I
dude.
love that. It's like the Psychroptic album Observant. Somebody
Oh,
changed it
yeah.
to abseiling.
Oh,
so good.
it's a spawn of conception.
Oh, that's
Oh, yeah,
awesome.
yeah, yeah.
Conception,
Yeah,
yep.
yeah.
Nice.
That's awesome. That's a fun little thing, for them to get into, and
Yeah,
like it's a
dude.
niche thing that like people never do. So it's like, shout out to that guy. What's his name again?
Yeah,
Derek McCubbin.
Yeah,
I
fuck
think
yeah.
his last name's McCubbin. Yeah,
I'll
Yeah.
check it out.
or Mick
Check it out,
Gubbin. I
sure.
can't.
I've seen him at
remember.
like
Either
3 or
way.
4 shows in LA. We've talked in person. He's a cool guy. But
Oh,
yeah, I want to hear about the tour that I witnessed that you guys all did. 2009, Amenta, Augury,
Oh,
Traffic Birth.
yeah.
Oh, and augury, yeah, that's right.
Man,
One thing we talked about this early, but I want to just preface it with what we talked about earlier because it always blew my mind. I've talked about it on the podcast multiple times. Also, one thing we didn't bring up was there was one time you had straight up the swine flu, and you had to do
I caught
you had to do
swine flu.
both sets.
I was throwing up in a plastic bag. with
Yeah, I remember
soles
watching you and like
shit.
taking care of you and being like all worried.
Oh my god!
No, but like
That's-
so I mean that was the one thing, but also to preface that was that you came out there with Augury and you were kind of traveling in the same vehicle, right? And the drummer couldn't make it
Mandarin
last
Augury,
second.
yeah.
Yeah, and they were just like, well, vehicle's fucked, everything's fucked. And you're like, well, I'll learn the set, and you learned it in like a day or two, right?
Yeah, I had a couple of days before we flew out in
Like one of the
here in
gnarly
Australia.
It's crazy.
And I remember getting this panic email from Eric explaining everything. So basically, we were sharing a van with Augury, the mentor in Augury, and then Augury's drummer bailed last minute for personal reasons and stuff. And they were like, oh, well, if we don't have a drummer, we're out of the tour. And then we would lose our transport for the whole tour. It was a 7-week tour. And it was kind of like, we were already, it's huge money to get visas and flights and all that sort of shit from Australia to begin with. So it was basically like, oh, sweet. If they don't find a drummer in 2 days' time, everything we've just done will be gone out the window. So I remember Eric was like, just wondering if you'd be available. Do you want to learn this stuff of Auguries? I'm like, I'd never heard them before, like their
That's
music.
insane, dude.
And I was like, oh, how hard could it be? Check it out. And then I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake, are you serious? Like, of all the bands.
Yeah.
Shit. You serious?
Yeah.
And it's like, it's not just, and Forrest is such an incredible, unique musician.
Mhm.
It's not like, oh, I could just follow the bass and the guitars, it'll be fine. No, the bass is doing 7 different things over the guitars, and everything's all over the place. And it was like one odd time signature after another, and a tempo changes after another. And I remember like learning half the set, and there was a song called Skyless they wanted to do.
Oh yeah, I know.
And I'd learned the first few minutes of it and just fucking panicking. And I emailed the band. I'm like, I can't do this one. Have you got another one? Can you send me a slightly easier one? Oh, look, it's Buddies.
Oh yeah, Inception.
I walked into the wrong room.
So it's just like
bathroom's right next door. He missed the wrong door.
He's looking for more bacon.
Yeah.
Is he got any more snacks?
Dude, I like got like I can relate to that feeling of like not knowing and like having only a day left to like learn a whole set you're about to play live. That sounds so fucking scary.
Yeah.
So, and the thing is, though, you'd never heard them before, which blows my mind. Because I remember you playing it, and I was like, "Oh, is that the first show?" I was like, "Oh, they're drummers, the same drummers, the Evento." I was like, "Oh, he's fucking killing it." No, you were killing. I had no idea, and I remember you were like, "No, I just learned this like a couple days ago." I was like, "What the fuck?" You like one of the bands I was like, Augury was like, "This is this crazy prog death metal band. I cannot wait to see them." And you've learned that in 2 days. It just blows my mind.
Yeah, it was pretty fucking stressful. And like I remember just going and just playing for like 10, 12 hours straight, coming in, having dinner, listening to the tracks while I was having dinner, listening to the tracks, then going back out to the studio and just going again and going and again and going. There's a certain point where you know what it's like. You're sort of diminishing returns. You're not actually getting, but I was like, I can't stop. I just have to keep playing it. I don't even care. I just keep playing it even if I'm fucking up. At least if I fuck it up, then I know how to fix it, and keep the song going and stuff. And that was before click tracks and backing tracks and stuff. So, if I get hired these days for a band, I'll be like, I'll need click tracks. And I'm going to make it idiot-proof by putting 2 big cowbell bongs before every change. I'll learn the shit, but just in case I have a moment on stage, you've got that backup of bong, bong, change coming. Then it was just like, what's up, guys? I'll be leading your band. I've never, I'll need heaps of guitar in the monitors, and that's the best I can hope for, I guess. So
crazy.
Yeah.
I don't think there was a point where it fell apart and like we had to stop.
No,
but
I never saw any because I saw you guys every night. One of my favorite bands. I was so excited to tour with Augury, and was every night I was like, you were fucking just like the band. Like there was nothing weird about drums at all. It was just, and then finding out that I think I found that out kind of later in the tour, just like.
I remember you coming up to me like, did you feel it? I'm like, yeah.
That's insane, dude. And then doing it, so then you're in the middle of the tour. I forget what venue it was. Where was it? Or when you had swine flu and you were sitting there just like sweating and just barfing and drinking water. And
I think we were at the border between Canada and the States. So
okay.
Like
right before Prince George.
I think it was just after that. So we might have been coming out of Canada back into the States.
Okay.
And just. I remember sitting at like the customs, and it was like, if you have swine flu, declare it and go home. And it had all the symptoms in this poster. And I'm like, yep, done that. Yeah, I've done that twice. I have that. I felt like that yesterday. It was just like, oh, fuck, that's what I've got. It was like, damn it. So,
hey, well, at least you didn't have to pay for a fucking copay at a doctor's office for them to tell you. It's like,
that's
just
it.
Fucking
I was like,
told you.
But like after that, I remember sitting there, and then like that next week, I have zero memory of anything. It was just like survival, play the shows.
You were in like I have this vision of or this memory of you, and it's on a wooden bench somewhere, and it's inside, and you're laying there on your back on it, and you're just like covered in sweat. I'm just like, and this is like 3 o'clock in the day. Like it's not warm outside. It's freezing outside. And you're just like covered in sweat. And I'm like, what the fuck? He's like, oh, he's super sick. Like he's super. And I was like, well, they're gonna miss the sets. Like that's totally fine. And he's like, no, he's gonna do them. And I was like, what? I think you maybe cut a couple songs, right? You might have cut a couple
I think we
songs.
did a shorter set for the mentor and stuff, just like songs, 4 or 5 songs, and then just crawl back to the bus and die.
So you don't even remember doing that? You don't remember even playing?
No, I can't remember a shit. And it was just like, I remember Eric turning around, just looking at me. He's like, "Are you gonna die?" And I'm like, "Maybe." Let's go.
Sick.
Jesus.
Like it's a good way to go, I guess. Speaking about dying on stage.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh fuck. But yeah, that was a pretty brutal tour. And then like the tour after that or before that in Europe, I remember I was just super unlucky, and like we were playing in France and someone brought out this big black stew and it looked really dark and stuff. And I'm like, well, I'm pretty hungry. I'll just eat some. And then, you know, when you get a stomach bug or something and you wake up randomly in the middle of the night, you're like, something is,
Yeah.
You're like, that was me in one of those little coffin bunks in the top of the bus, just like, oh, no. And of course the toilets, you can't use the toilets on the bus. So it was throwing up in rubbish bags again. I think I missed one show in Europe. Luckily we had like a travel day or something. But yeah, I just didn't have much luck on those early tours. If someone was going to get sick, it was going to be me. So
if you ever know if you're ever jamming with Robin or Robin's helping you out in a big band or something and he gets sick, it's like the toughest motherfucker ever. So if he's sick and he can't play, then shut the fuck up and play in this clip. Because after the shit I saw, I've talked about this on like 7 episodes. So you doing that, it's you and Eric Rutan. I saw Eric Rutan once when we did the Black Dahlia Hate Eternal tour. Where I saw him just like I remember like I was back hanging with him and he took his temperature and it was like 104, 103, and he's sitting there just covered in sweat and just goes out there and does it. And I'm just like, he's all, you can't miss these shows, dude. You can't miss these shows. I just went up there and did it. And I was like, and you have to do drums for 2 bands. And I'm like, that to me, it was swine. I had swine flu before, like probably a month before that. And I was like in bed. Every time I stood up, I vomited. I was like, exactly. I had to go piss. If I had to go piss, I would stand up and catch vomit while I was pissing. It was like disgusting. So I don't even know how you did that. That's, man.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think it was just like might as well do something instead of just lying here feeling like death. Let's just get up and do it.
Yeah.
But it's that thing of going to let people down. Everyone wait, and it's like not just one band, but it was like 2 bands. That's like half the night gone for everyone. It's just like, oh fuck. So, but got through it eventually, and I haven't really had that sort of issue since. So I think I got it out of my system.
Knock on wood or something, some sort of wood.
Yeah, all the other tours I'd be like multivitamins and shit, like pumping them like weeks before and all the way through the tours and stuff, just try and stay as healthy as possible and drink way more water than you should and just like I mean, I don't drink or smoke and don't party. I'm antisocial as fuck anyway, so but yeah, you just have to really bump up the self-care when you're doing that sort of shit, I guess. So like you say, with death metal drums and stuff, it's like that's hard enough at home, let alone doing it every night and stuff. You don't watch that shit like Neil's Dominator doing those Dark Funeral shows. Insane. And they're playing an hour or whatever a night. You're just like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Next level human endurance and stuff. And it's like we played with Dark Funeral once, and he rocks up with 1 Axis pedal and 1 Iron Cobra pedal. Like it's like having a thong and a gumboot and then expecting to go and run a marathon. It's just like the most ridiculous shit. And he's just there killing it. You're just like, what the fuck? Some people are just like,
wait a minute. Explain. Does he normally do that? Like that's what?
No.
Okay.
He's like, I think one of his Axis pedals had fucked up or something, and he just grabbed some random Iron Cobra pedal on the other bass drum. You know what it's like. They're completely different pedals, and he still made it work. And I'm like, are you crazy? That was a real turn on, like a real like switched on light bulb moment for me. It was like you have to be able to perform on whatever is thrown at you at any gig and stuff. So these days, I made it for years. I made it a challenge. They were like, "Oh, what's the back line at the show?" And I'm like, "I don't want to know. I'll just play whatever's there, and I'll just do my best to make it work." Because you turn up and it'd be one kick drum, one tom, 2 cymbal stands. You're like, "Oh shit, okay, I gotta make this work." All right. But yeah, I always think back to that Neil's show where he's just like using whatever and just absolutely destroying it. You're like, that is professional there. So good.
Yeah.
You guys as drummers, how would you handle that situation if you had the 2 different pedals? Because is
one's
it
heavier,
like a
one's
tension
looser?
thing? Is it like a tension thing?
Yeah, well, one's way heavier and the connection on it is a chain. So it's like smoother and slower. And then the other one is made of like aircraft aluminium and the connection is like aluminium as well. So you move it a tiny bit and it responds straight away. So, on your left foot, you've got a Volkswagen Beetle. And on the right,
right?
Yeah. You got a Ferrari on your other foot. So it's like trying to figure that out would be a nightmare.
Well, the way that Anthony can understand it is I was at his auto shop today, and when he's working on cars, he has there's a cat fight behind me, by the way, which is badass.
Oh!
Another
camera.
It's not an actual fight.
Birdie
They're just
and
being
Cat
normal
are getting
cats.
along?
They're just hissing, yeah, but it's cute. But point is that so I went at Anthony's shop today, and he comes out and got his full gear on, like clothes, and he wears these like shoe, like boot, like type things. They're not full on boots, but they're like heavy duty type deals. And then he's around the corner, and he's like, "I got to get changed, so we're gonna go to get dinner." And he comes back like 10, 15 minutes later. I was like, "What are you doing back there?" But he comes back and he's like, total different gear, got sandals on, like he just walked out got off the plane from his Hawaii trip or something.
Yes.
And so what he's trying to say, Anthony, is like, imagine like keeping one leg with like the boot on and the other leg with just a sandal, and trying to like run, like that's what I
straight up.
Fucking weird as shit, dude. Yeah. And then play a Dark Funeral set.
Exactly. Which is like,
Dark Funeral set.
There's like maybe 10 people in the world that could pull that off, drumming wise. It's just ridiculous.
I mean, it's very. I would say it's similar. I know Matt Sotelo, he would go between playing a really hard pick and just the loosest acoustic pick he can, like. And to me, that's a humongous difference. It's like the loose pick's gonna catch if you're going fast. And he always told me, same thing that you said. He's just all like, I just want to be able to play with any pick that's thrown at me. I want to be able to play with any pick. I want to know, okay, I'll tell it's floppy, so I'll play a different style. But like he would play these picks that were just like, you just touch them with your finger and they'd bend to your thumb.
Wow.
And you play with those, and then you play with like the hard ones too. And I was like, that's like I haven't met any guitar player that would do that, And to me, it's the same thing as.
I'm looking at Gilbert right now. He's got like 10 picks on the thing. He's
probably got jazz threes.
He has 4
little black ones.
4 different kinds.
He's got like all these different kinds of guitars.
When did picks get all pointy like this? Yeah.
A long time ago.
Yeah.
Kerry King used to play the pointy ones in like the early 90s.
Zach was like showing me one of those today. He's like, this is totally the pick that everybody uses. Like, and he was like,
little jazz threes.
It was
small
one. No, it was like a 1.
Oh yeah.
1.0. Like and it was like rounded a little differently. It wasn't like a normal Tortex. It was like a little bit more rounded or something. I don't even know.
Do you use you still use pick, Joel? For bass?
I mean, I play guitar mainly, so I mean, but I'm doing for bass. It's gonna be mainly pick and tapping. Like I'm not like a sick tapping. I'm not what's his Ricky. I'm not a Ricky Avocado. Like I can't Ricky the thing out of the. I mean. Literally. But no, it's I mean, for me, I think I mean, it's mostly been I'm just kind of a hack bass player playing a bass, but a guitar player playing bass kind of thing. And I had to kind of once I toured with like Evan Brewer and fucking like all these like shredding bass player, and I'm a Brandon Giffen, Cynic, Faceless. Like I had to be like, all right, you guys are bass players. And they would always be like, "No, dude, you're sick. You're fucking doing all this. We can't do what you're doing." Well, I'm like, "Well, I'm a guitar player. That's why you can't do it. You're a bass player."
I'm just on the wrong instrument.
I know. Because my dad was a bass player, and I was like, you know what? I've always wanted to learn. And then like Odious came around, and I was like, you know what? Let's just try this out. And then Odious was like, "You're in." I'm like, "Fuck. All right. Well, let's get better at this real quick."
There's
But
so much pick shame out there, you know.
well, there
I
is.
mean,
There's a lot of good pick bass players that I really like.
Yeah.
But
Just looking
there's
at this pile, I see Tortex, and
this is probably the most common one
Well-
nowadays. I would say is the Jazz 3. Shit, one of these. Do you see one of these,
Yeah.
Anthony?
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks.
What's a tiny
Everyone
one?
uses
It looks like a pirate coin, but like
I don't like the small ones, man.
Yeah.
No, I
Neither
like
does
the
my
regular.
girlfriend.
Nope.
Man, there's a few of these.
Here's
I like the
That's a
good
weird-
old yellow Tortex, you know,
Oh, I got this. That's what I use for bass.
because the
Yeah.
yellows they're easier to find when you drop them on the ground. And stuff.
Yeah, they're just yellow. Yeah.
Well,
or
the
like in a
dark ones.
couch or something. Yeah.
Do you guys see how I'm contributing to your gear talk right now? I'm like, check out Gilbert's stuff, dude.
He's just throwing it everywhere. He's gonna wake up in the morning like, "What the fuck did you do to my desk?"
So
Yeah, dude.
No, but same thing though.
It's
Same
rad
thing that you're
having
saying with the
Mike Gilbert
with
back on
the
the podcast here. We got him in the corner. You know, he's-
yeah. Well, it's like it's like working with different equipment that you're not used to and saying like, "Fuck it, this is what I got to work with." And that's what Matt would say is like, if I don't have my pick
Yeah.
and there's like one that's like a floppy ding dong, I got to
gotta
know
be
how to
ready.
play with
Yeah.
that. You know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and that was same mindset. You touched
Yeah.
my pick.
um
Yes, that's very. So that helped you probably get better as a drummer, right?
Yeah, because I set up, I literally just set up like a basic rock kit, and I was like, I'm gonna have to play. There's a band I was working with called Gods of Eden, which was like stupid, crazy prog tech stuff. It took me months to learn their songs, like months and months of practice and stuff. And we rocked up to a show in Melbourne, and the back line was there. This is before I decided to, you know, work on playing on anything I was thrown. And yeah, I was like, oh, these are my specs for my kit. I need 2 bass drums. I need this many boom stands, blah, blah, blah. And we got there, and obviously it wasn't there because we're just a fucking metal band. Who gives a shit? And yeah, it was like one rack tom, one kick. It was just a house kit. And I remember panicking and then sort of going, oh, well, I should be able to do it on this regardless. So that's sort of, yeah, when I got home, I was like, all right, fine. I'll just strip my big kit down and just set up this tiny little kit. I was like, I'm going to have to make it work on whatever's thrown at me, which is such a good thing. And they often say if you're feeling like you're in a creative rut, take stuff away from your drum kit so you have less to play on. So it makes you think outside the box and be more creative with what little amount of things to hit you have in front of you, which is really good. And that really helped me sort out, you know, different ideas, different approach to fills and not just being, because I'm not the sort of drummer that ever plays the same thing twice, really. It's funny because I'll do a job, a session or something, and I tell people, if you want a full video playthrough, let me know now, because I won't ever play this the same again. Because then I'll be like, oh, can we pay for the video like 3 months time? And I'm like, you can, but it'll be a totally different take. It won't be the same. I can't remember what I did that long ago. So yeah, it's just having that freedom to be able to sort of do your job on whatever's thrown at you was a real eye-opener for me.
well definitely wanted to ask about your session career and, you know, like how many records have you recorded at this point, and, you know, how long have you been session for?
Well, it sort of came about from the fact that I finished up with the Amenta because we were touring pretty hard. And then my own band, Norse, was sort of dwindled down in members till like it was 2 core members, me and Trilo. And then Trilo left to go to medical school and do all this sort of stuff. So that sort of finished. So it was just sort of all this culmination of everything just stopping. And I was like, and then I had kids, young kids and stuff. So it was around 2012, 11, 12. and I didn't want to be out touring. I wanted to be at home. Because you just look at all the other people who are touring and stuff, and they never see their kids, and it's just like, no, I don't need to do that.
I mean, that's where I was too, dude. Started having kids, and I was like, touring's not a thing anymore.
It's not a thing. No,
I tried it once after my first was born, and seeing the difference and missing just that month, I was like, nah.
Exactly. It's a different person when you come home when they're that little.
It really was, dude. And it was pretty wild how much changed in 1 month. So I was like, nah, I can't miss any more of it.
No, exactly. And the thing with touring, there's so much downtime. There's so much, you've got things at home you want to be at home for. That's the worst, because you're just sitting around twiddling your thumbs, going, my kid's probably at home, and I want to be there. But so it was all those sort of things, bands finishing up. But at the same time, I'm like, I've put so much effort into, getting to this point on my instrument. I'm in no way am I going to just put the sticks down and throw it away, because it was so much part of my life. So I started to just set up a little basic studio in my room that I had outside, and set up a kit, and I went on the Metal Archives, the forum there, and just put up a post saying, hi, my name is Robert Stone, and these are the bands I work for. Here's some videos. If anyone wants any free session work done, I'll do it for free. If you've got an album you want real drums done, I'll just do it for free, because I'm still learning how to do all this sort of stuff. And I think I got like 6 or 7 albums straight up from that, of people wanting to do stuff. And I was working full time as a gardener, so I'd just go out, do usual 8-hour day, come home, spend time with the kids, put them to bed, and then just go and record drums till whenever in the morning, 2:00 in the morning, for free. Get up and rinse and repeat. And like, looking back, I'm not sure how I actually didn't kill myself doing that, because it was just brutal. Like,
damn,
absolutely
kids work and your hobby.
And then and then blast beats till fucking 2 a.m. It's like,
blast beats.
Jesus.
So, and cheers to your wife for, if the kids got up in the middle of the night and you're
exactly,
or whatever.
Super supportive.
That's
super supportive.
Like, totally. That's rad.
The best. And then as like, time went on, I was like, people were like, you should be charging for this, because these drum tracks are good and I can use them, and release the album and stuff. I'm like, oh, that's awesome, cool. So I never went into it going, I'm going to do this for, set up a business and do all this sort of stuff. It was just the most backwards way of doing it, just grassroots, sort of just wanting to help people out and wanting to keep busy, with music and stuff, because it's what I love doing. And then, so just over the years, it's sort of built and built. And then it got to the point on, I think it was Facebook, where it was like, you've reached your friend limit or something like that. And then people were getting annoyed at me because they wanted to add me and message me about session work. And I wasn't seeing the messages and stuff. I'm like, oh, fine. I'll have to set up a proper page and Instagram and all that shit. I hated the idea of getting famous or whatever from posting videos and stuff. I was like, I'm just posting shit that I'm working on. Just as an afterthought. I just put a camera up and be like, this is what I'm doing today. This is cool. And then there's people who are like, you're my favorite influence. And I'm like, oh, don't call me that. Disgusting. It just, I just like, I wasn't going to do videos. It's like, I put a flamethrower in my bass drum and, all that shit. It was just, I wanted to play music, and, obviously social media is there. So you make the most of it by promoting yourself and just throwing videos up, and it just sort of grew that way. And it's I get people asking me, how do you set it all up? What did you do and stuff? And I'm just like, I don't know. Sorry. I didn't have a game plan. I didn't have steps that I followed, or you got to do this, you got to post this, and you got to pay for advertisers. It's just like I just offered to do shit for free.
Mm-hmm.
And it got to the point where around, or was it 2020, 2019, I was stressed out because, you know, you grow up, don't get rid of your day job. You grow up hearing that, you know, don't be a musician. There's no money in that, especially death metal, black metal stuff. So, but it was getting to the point where I was stressing out about the amount of session work I had, like backing up paid work. But I was still had that mindset of you got to keep your day job.
Mm-hmm.
And then one day I was just like, hang on, no, I don't. I can fuck that off. So I just quit all my gardening stuff and realized, yeah, I've got enough here to, you know, support family, pay the bills, do all that sort of stuff. Which is pretty crazy. Like, it shouldn't exist. It's like, you know what it's like. You go on tour as a death metal band, you come back with less money, or if you're lucky, you break even, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So, and I never thought that people would actively want to give me money just to record drums. Like, that was never something I thought people would be happy to do, like shell out actual money for that.
Right.
But I was, it proved me wrong. So,
So with that being like your main source of income now, I see it, and now I'm losing the track of thought.
That's what he's all. You want? He's all. I'm gonna hit this weed, dude. It's gonna be so gnarly.
Dude, no, I was totally. I just wanted to make sure that I heard everything that he said, but now I'm fucking lost in what I was wanting to ask him because it's fascinating. It's very rare to be a family man that can support everybody off of doing death metal and shit like that. So like, I wanted to know what your personal relationship with music outside of it being like the main source of income, like what do you listen to when you're just going to listen to music outside of what you're recording?
Honestly, because I grew up listening to everything, from jazz to, and then I was doing pop stuff as well, and death metal. It's people. You look at my Spotify, and they they sometimes try to make playlists based on your listening history, and it's just the most confusing shit ever.
Algorithm. The algorithm's like, what do I do with this?
Exactly.
It's with me a little bit. Yeah.
Like, I probably listen to less extreme stuff now.
Mm-hmm.
I always say, if you're working at McDonald's every day, the last thing you want to come home to is a fucking Big Mac. Yeah. But at the same time, I still do listen to it. Like, just last night I was cranking Cryptopsy and just absolutely loving it,
Right.
But like, music is always on in our house, driving the kids to school. It's a 20-minute drive or something. And it's always a fight who gets to choose what to listen to.
How old are your kids?
They're around 13, 9, and 8, 12, 9, and 8. They keep changing. I don't know.
You and I are pretty parallel, bro.
Really?
I see that you and I now, with the hoodie, with the 3 kids, we're the same age, and all this kind of stuff. I think that you and I could probably, we could
imagine if you've done your research for this podcast.
I know. You didn't need any radical research.
You got me, dude. You got me. But
no,
hey,
I'm just kidding.
I'm here to hang. I'm here to hang and just learn in the moment, bro. That's what it is,
But
that's super cool, dude. I just think that like how you're balancing all of that and having an attitude that we've witnessed enough 2 hours into this thing almost. I think that's killer, man.
Thank you.
Awesome. I mean, that's what everybody would strive to be, like as an artist.
Technically, it is the dream job. Like, and I can't believe it sort of really happened. So I think the pandemic, with like all the band tours and shit shutting down, I had a huge spike in session work from that. Because everyone was at home just writing shit, and they're like, oh, we can get real drums done, and we don't, because we can't leave the house and all that shit. I just send it to this guy and he'll record drums and send it back. So I kind of felt really bad about that, because I was actually making money while I knew when all my other friends and musicians were like losing and hemorrhaging money and just stuck at home and stuff. So that was kind of a weird thing. In the fact, when it came to money, I was just like, oh, I feel really bad about this.
Yeah.
But you gotta, I guess you gotta weigh it all up. Like I wasn't, all that money was going to my kids and, paying for them, and supporting them and stuff. So it wasn't like, oh, yeah, sick, just go partying and fucking buy a boat and shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, the money side of it, honestly, it was just like an afterthought that.
You do lessons, right? You do lessons as well, correct?
I used to do a bit, but honestly, I just don't have time at the moment.
Okay. Damn.
It's just got
Too much death metal.
Too much death metal and stuff.
Too much family.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's awesome. I mean, that's like I said, you're living the dream.
Are you doing like a band a week or a band a day? Or
well, I've got in my studio, I've got 2 rooms set up. So I've got up the back of the studio. It's a big room with a big kit, and then at the front, it's a smaller room with that smaller kit. So I have 2 jobs on the go at any time, and I can just switch between them. So if you kind of like getting a bit burnt out or a bit stuck on this session, go and work on the other one. So at the moment, I'm doing a black metal album for a band in Texas. I can't remember the name. On the big studio, on the big kit, and then I'm doing like this progressive folky sort of quieter acoustic album on I'm not even sure where that band's from on the other studio. So yeah, I get a heap of like one-off tracks as well, just singles, or 2 tracks that someone wants to do, and so it's really chaotic. It's never just I did an album this week and I'll do an album next week and I'll do, it's just, and because I'm working for myself and my hours are all over the place, I can go down to the studio at any time. Like I'll do half an album in a couple of days, and then I'll go and catch up on 4 or 5 little single jobs at night after your kids are in bed. So it's nothing about it is structured or regulated. It's just whatever I feel like working on at the time.
Yeah. I mean,
but if you broke it down, average an album and a half a week or something like that, probably sometimes 2 albums a week.
That's one thing I'm glad. A lot of Australian drummers are glad that you're doing that and not like playing in bands, because you'd just be like being in park. You'd be like in the biggest bands because you're like your talent is. I mean, like you just said, like you're doing an album and a half a week. Like it's not an album half a week. I'm like, dude, I'm doing like a song like a year. An album half a week is insane. I mean, and you've had that, like obviously going back to the Augury thing, like you had 2 days to learn one of my favorite band's music, and you just did it. So you have that natural inclination to learn quickly, and so you use that.
I think because I've got like crazy ADHD and I've had it my whole life and stuff. It's one of the benefits of having that is that hyper focus thing where you can just blinkers on and just go, and like your brain can work a lot faster in that creative sort of thing. And people have said that they're like, it took me 6 weeks to, write parts for these 3 songs. And then I'll send back parts in a couple of hours, finished tracks and stuff. So I think I have that advantage, which I kind of managed to use a lot more in this job. So, because it's like creativity at gunpoint. You're like, I've got 6 songs to do. They want interesting shit. They don't want it too crazy. So you got to sort of, balance that sort of thing. And then some bands are like, don't do too much crazy shit because we need to find a live drummer for this. So I'm like, all right, fine. You got to keep that in mind as well. Like a lot of people will comment that. They were like, well, what is this band going to do now? I'm not, I don't want to talk myself up or anything. It'll sound like, I'm so fucking
do it.
great. But, but it does. People often ask that. They're like, what's the band going to do now?
Yeah.
You've recorded drums. And I'm like,
you got to learn Robin's parts, dude. I remember you did a session for a band near me who had also hit me up to do the record. And then you posted a video of that song, and it was way sicker than what I had. And I was like, God, now I just have to do it like Robin. If I ever play for them live.
I'm sorry about that.
No, it was sick.
But that's what happened to, like, going back to the Dave Haley thing. Like, I remember thinking, oh, wow, watching him play the Amenta songs, and after I had played them, and I was like, I could either go home now and just be like, I'll never be that good, or I can go home and up my practice routine and, work twice as hard to reach that level. And that was the choice I made. I'm like, you can't just be like, oh, that's too hard, I don't want to do it. That's out of my range. No, nothing's out of your range. You just got to fucking work harder at it. So that's what I say to some of them. I'm like, just practice more then.
Yeah.
It'll be fine. You'll get it.
Yeah.
Like, I had to do exactly the same with Dave Haley. Like, he's like cream of the crop, extreme metal drumming, like, up there with the best of them. And it was, it's just like I could either walk away and quit or put my head down and work at it. So, that's just the way it's just the choices you want to make, I guess.
Probably takes from, you working on a farm when you were a kid, like the hard work. You had to put in hard work as a kid, like being raised on a farm and stuff like that. I can tell that kind of like translates to your drum work ethic.
Yeah, exactly. The Christmas tree farm, the old mate there, he was like, if you're not running, you're not getting paid enough, or something like that. Like, you had to fucking run to this, and and the same thing. He's like, I'll see you at 7:30, and by 7:30 he meant 7 o'clock, because you have to be there and ready and stuff. Same shit, just that old school. Put your head down and absolutely grind it out, because there's no excuses. And that was a really good work ethic to have as well.
Right.
Just like, no, if you want results. Because I used to go there and I used to have to like fertilize an entire paddock of trees with one little spoon and a bucket of fertilizer. And just, you'd walk 30 Ks in a day, just up and down, fertilizing these trees. There's no other way to do it. So just suck it up and do it. And it's the same with drums. You want to reach 260 BPM on your hands? Well, just sit down with a practice pad every day and put in the hours, Don't waste your time on fucking YouTube looking at new techniques and changing techniques every day and trying this. Just, no, your body will figure it out. You just have to force it to do.
It makes so much sense now. That makes so much sense now, hearing you coming from like the farm and like mentality, and then you just take that same exact energy and just channel it into whatever you're doing.
Yep. Yeah. If you want results, you just got to do it yourself. You can't, whinge about it and stuff. I mean, you can, but it won't get you anywhere.
Yeah, I know, right?
So, yeah.
But I mean, your records, they definitely have that like kind of a one take through special take kind of vibe to it, and I like hearing that in albums, and it's like a really nice balance. Yeah, I know what you're going for there. And it's cool, and especially with the option to program drums. Now a session drummer, you're seeing like a lot of jobs that could be your job, going to a computer program. And the programmer, and of course there are like many classic sacred records with programmed drums that are like so sick, but what it's like to like have that special, they invested in another human to make the art with them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it does. I think it does make a difference to an album to know that every instrument on that album is played by a human with their own, artistic input and perspective on the music and stuff. Like, you can tell when an album has been programmed by a guitarist or something, you're like, it's a sick thing. It would have been cool to have real drums on it, but I completely understand, like, it's expensive enough making an album or being in a band, and having real drums on top of it is a huge expense and a massive undertaking. So,
but I think the level of programming you need to like make a album sound really quality with programmed drums, like you're better off just hiring someone to play them than going through all the single hits and all the velocities. Like,
I said that to people as well, that I'm like, how many hours have you spent on this, on programming your drums?
Yeah. What's your time?
And they're like, oh, we've spent months of just, putting it in and writing it and stuff. And I'm like, so if you paid yourself those hours, how much would you pay yourself? And they're usually like, oh shit, yeah, right. And I'm like, I'm charging half of the amount of, the amount of hours you've sat down and put into that. And you could have had drums by the end of the week for your album done. And they're like, oh shit, yeah, okay, I get it now. So I guess it comes down to, sorry, go on.
Oh no, I'm sorry to cut you off, but Chris Mahar, shout out Chris Mahar. Oh, sorry. See, I see you post these things of people like giving you shit, like and I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, and I'll like watch the video that they're talking about. I'm like, what do you post? Like, what are you doing? Like, I don't understand why? How do you? I mean, I know it's the YouTube kind of like culture to like sit back and be like, fucking suck. Like, you know what I mean? And it like makes them feel better because they're it's it's obviously jealousy and stuff like that. But so you've posted a lot of these things that I've seen of people like going like, what the fuck, fucking sucks and shit like that. Like, how do you?
I mean, groove dads. They're called groove dads.
Yeah.
Where's the groove?
No groove. That's what he said. Shout out Chris Mahar too. But like that is like, it's so fun. I mean, same with Gabe Sieber. There would be this guy he's still like, we joke about it to this day of like, this is like he's like has this one poster so like no talent, terrible or something like that. And
that's
it's like,
right. I remember that.
Yeah, and it's got this. The guy's face is just like this, like big old like. It looks like a caveman. He's like fucking terrible. Like I don't even, and just like no drum videos, no band. He's never been in a band. He's just sitting back, just going like fucking suck. It's like just like obvious, like I said, jealousy.
My
but
take
like,
on it is like with the cancel culture type situation, where it's like when you get canceled, you actually get bigger. It's like so. Like,
well, that's it. Yeah.
You also like with the trolling shit. It's like once you see trolls, you're like,
oh,
fuck yeah, dude, we've got to the troll level. Now we got trolls.
Yeah.
We've gotten to the point where now we've actually
people care enough,
broke through enough layers to where now we got the fucking dorks coming through that sit behind their keyboard.
And the thing is, they love it. They're just going like, God damn it, this guy is fake. Exactly. That's like. So how do you take all that in? Obviously, with you, I can tell by your reaction immediately. That's like funny. Like it's like a funny thing for you.
Yeah, I remember reading an interview with David Diepold. Is it Diepold? What an incredible drummer, like insane. That dude is just amazing. Watching his shit is just like so good. He put somewhere in an interview or said somewhere in an interview that he was like this close to giving up drums, just going back to teaching because of comments on social media and YouTube comments and shit. And I was like, fuck, really? That is just the worst. Imagine, dedicating your whole life to this craft and then getting to the point where just random people bully you into like quitting. I'm just like, nah, that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So I just thought I'd just fight fire with fire and just, if they want to be smart asses, I will be a polite smart ass back.
Yeah.
And just,
and
I'm not
call
going
him a cunt.
No, I don't want to do that. Like,
be super nice to him. Yeah, be a sweetheart to him.
But just like
no, you said it could be your best friend that you're talking about, but you're still calling him a cunt.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's just like if I'm just going to be a polite smart ass to them and just screenshot it, and then people seem to love it. Every time you do it. If I can get a laugh out of that situation instead of going down a rabbit hole and arguing and fighting and shit. If I can just screenshot it and post it and 300 people laugh, react or whatever, that's awesome.
Much better.
That's the best thing ever.
That's the biggest diffuser, because if whoever sent it will probably see that and see everybody.
They have, yeah, and they've like
Yeah.
messaged me later and was like, "Oh, I'm really sorry."
I was just
about that.
kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. No, I was just.
You know, I'm
kidding.
actually a fan. You know.
Yeah.
It's just like,
Well, that's happened. Like,
Really?
a couple of top fans were originally like, "You fucking suck, dude." I'm like, "Oh, okay." So,
it's a strange thing, dude.
Yeah, I know. And like, you look at comment threads on videos and stuff, and it's just people being the worst versions of themselves. You know,
I can't.
600 comments in,
Yeah.
you're just like,
Yeah.
no, I'm not doing that. I'm not having that on my page or anything. It's just
I didn't realize it was bad enough for someone like Dipole to like take it that, to feel the effects of it. I've looked at his stuff and I assume it was just everybody blowing smoke. Like I usually just like, holy shit, I love you or whatever, you know, like
yeah.
But
I
I guess
mean,
there's
those-
another side of it too.
There is, and like, obviously, it's not all hate comments, obviously, that I get. Like, you know, if you're feeling down or something, you can go and read some comments and you're just like, oh, that's so awesome. People really like what I do. You know, that's so cool.
Yeah,
You know, you
totally.
appreciate that. Like, you know, people take the time to say, you're really good at this. I really appreciate it. Stuff. That's like amazing. So good.
I think also like just not just the attention or amount of views and all that, but when people come and they the troll types or whatever, and they just see like all these positive comments. Sorry.
Yeah.
You can do that.
Yeah. Cat fight.
Yeah. Oh, perfect.
You just I thought you just apologized to the cats.
Dude, this is the greatest.
I know you guys are fighting
That was
cats, so I
wild.
apologize.
Just like the cats, I'm trying to talk, and then they're just all like
Attacking each other.
No, dude, I love it. But what I was gonna say is that I think that people see this like slew of like positive comments, and they're just like
jealousy.
what can
I gotta
fucking
add
type in? How do
one.
I
Oh, that
break
too.
this? You know, they just
Yeah.
want to slide in there and just like knock all the. It's like a sandcastle. It's like stomping out the sandcastle. It's like, you know, it's so easy to do that.
better.
I've had feelings like this in the past and stuff where bands are like a big deathcore band comes out and it's like, oh, it's the sickest thing ever, and like I'll be like, well, it's not that. I won't type it, but I'll be like, oh, like have this like protective thing. I'm like, well, you know, like I want to like in my heart of hearts, I'm just like, I don't get why they're blowing up so big. I don't get it right now. You know, it's like, you know. I mean, there was one band, Lorna Shore, the newer stuff. I was like, okay, well, I get that one, but I still,
I'm still not happy about it.
not happy about it. Exactly. And I feel like there's a lot of like, kids that are playing in bands, and like what Ian was saying, it's like kids. It's kids.
Yeah.
You know, like sitting in like they're starting their bands, and they only have the most brutal, you know, like influences, and then like or something like that, and they hear something that's like outside the spectrum of that, and they're just like, ooh, this is the perfect time for me to. You know, something like that, or it's like a band, like a dad band, or something like that, or a band that's like got groove, like trying to be like, you know, like be like more groovy, and they're like they want to hate on the blast bonks, you know, they want to like, you know, they don't like, you know, and I understand when I was younger, like not understanding blast bonks as much as like, you know, now I love them. But like, and then when I was back in the day, I was like, why are you just like going? Why are you having a seizure on the drums? I don't understand what's going on. You know, it's like rather than like having like, you know, listen to like nothing but Red Hot Chili Peppers all day and just like funky stuff all day, where it's got this like, it's more got a thing that people can just do this to like slowly and not understand like the super fast. And
like,
people
I
get like
totally understand that. Like,
me too. I can understand how people could not be into it. Yeah, I can get that, but they get like. Well, I don't understand it, so hey, you know, they're like, you know, like
exactly.
Like
I think
not open-mindedness. Yeah,
I would wear a shirt that said "Don't hate on the blast bonks." Dude. I really would.
I think
it like
I think
Red Hot Chili
boomers
Peppers logo.
Nice. Boomers just are more. They feel more like entitled to online spaces to just voice their opinion, or they almost feel like compulsive. Like whatever they see, they just comment on everything. Whether they like it or not. But like people from our generation, when we like came into the internet as youths, we were like not going to just start writing shit anywhere. So then we kept that mentality of like, oh, you don't say anything nice. If you don't have anything nice to say, just don't say anything. But boomers are just, I don't get, because they're just like, hey, I grew up during the Apple II or whatever, you know, like.
Well, we went through the revolution of having. It's like the same thing on the schoolyard. Like the first time you walked up to a kid on the schoolyard, something terrible to him, and saw his face, you didn't feel good. Like when he said something bad to them. And we've got to like go through like MySpace and be like, oh, it sucks. And then someone's like, fuck you. And you're like, this, I don't like the feeling it's giving me. Like, oh, maybe I shouldn't just like say something to get attention. You know, like you get like shot down pretty quickly.
It does take a specific person, because I mean, I had access to the internet and I would never.
You can't even use your computer, dude.
I was talking to Casey about that. It's like I definitely can for the basics.
Yeah.
But
well, that's it. Like there's that
Facebook
go ahead,
group,
Old School Drummers or something that I joined for a laugh.
Yeah.
You just go there and you're just like, Jesus, are you serious, guys? Just like getting on there and complaining about everything left, right, and center.
It just shows what really is going on in that person's life.
They just just collect Rogers. They just play Rogers drum kits. Yeah,
exactly.
It's the one place they have control of the situation, dude. Every other part of their life is out of control. So this is the one place they can control.
Well, they need to be the person that tells the person that goes like, no, like the way I do it is, well, you know what I mean? They need to be that like person that kind of like, well, from my super elitist perspective, this is how you're supposed to do it. Then they see something outside that box and they're like, sucks.
Exactly.
Like,
yeah,
it's like losing power.
Like I still know I might meet some sandal haters in my career if I continue performing death metal in sandals. You know? It's still gonna happen. I'm gonna get the sandal trolls. The sandal trolls are gonna come out.
But more bands are doing it now, so it's like it's becoming more popular. So
yeah,
I'm gonna be like, you should put some shoes on just so you're not so popular, dude.
I'm gonna...
So you've been playing live a little bit more these days, is that right, Robin?
I went through a little phase recently where I've been helping out bands live, but it's compared to session work or studio work, I should say, the amount of hours, you know what it's all like, learning a full set list, driving to rehearsals, doing all this shit for 45 minutes of actual playing.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, I feel it's not a good use of time these days. Yeah. And like I said, I've been playing shows since 2001 or something. And you know what it's like. There's so much downtime, and time is pretty precious these days. Right. So it's kind of like, if I do live stuff, I want to make sure that whatever band I'm working for can turn up, do the show with one rehearsal or no rehearsal in some cases. Like, nice to meet you, let's go do this show. But the thing with live stuff is you never know what you're going to get with people, and you never know how reliable people are going to be. And there's some stuff that I've agreed to do, and you turn up and nothing's ready, nothing's organized, and you're just wasting time. And you're like, I could have done 4 songs in this time and sent them off and been paid for that and got onto this other job that I was really looking forward to. So and with Australia, there's like 4 cities you can play, and there's only so many times you can play the same venues and still get enjoyment out of it and have fun and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So excuse me. Live stuff in Australia, my interest in it is just sort of like over the years. And like I said before, I'm not interested in spending 6 weeks, overseas or anything like that. Yeah, exactly. It's just not really financially feasible anymore, unfortunately.
That Blade of Horus gig, though.
Sorry?
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Blade of Horus, that was because I'd arranged to do shows with them back in 2020, and then everything went to shit. So I had learnt their whole set list already, And then they hit me up again, like when was it, February or something this year, to do a run of shows. And it was basically like, well, I've already got most of the set list down, so I'll just run through it a few times and just did it. And that was really fun. Excellent dudes, really well organized. James Buckman, the guitarist, organized everything. He did an amazing job. So that was a really enjoyable thing to do. The same with the convulsing shows. Once or twice a year, we'll be like, all right, let's do some shows and go and do some stuff around. And the same deal, you'll get into the room with those guys, and Brendan and Peter will have their parts down, and everything's good. And that's the beauty of always working with a click track as well, because I'm like, we all know exactly what the tempos are. The bands I work with, they don't have click tracks or anything. They're just following me, but I'll make rehearsal tracks, the solo drum tracks, to the clicks and send them off and say, rehearse to these. And then when we all meet up, everything should just fall into place if you've done your homework. So it's, as long as everything works like it should, they're fine. But every now and then, like I said, you just sign on with a band who just aren't really that professional and just sort of fuck around. You're just like, oh, that's right. I remember why I don't do this.
Yeah.
It only takes one or two members who are just not organized and stuff to hold everything up. And you're just like, I don't have the patience for this anymore. I don't know how old I am. I think I'm 37, but I'm over this sort of stuff. So with, studio work, it's all my responsibility. It's all on me. I'll have the files. I'll have everything. If I'm unorganized or if I fuck up, I can blame me, and that's fine, and work on it for next time and improve my workflow and all that sort of stuff. So, these days, studio work is by far priority for what I want to do.
Can I ask also about the drum tech gig with Emperor that you did?
Oh yeah, that was awesome. So that's the second time I've done that. Because Dave Haley runs a touring company and partner with Soundworks Touring and stuff like that. So, and I've known Soundworks guys, Brad and Daisy, for years. So, first shows ever, I think, was with them and stuff like that. Metal shows, metal tours. They're awesome dudes. But Dave just hit me up. He's like, we need someone who knows drums to come and drum tech specifically. Would you be up for it for Trim and Emperor? And I was like, oh, fuck yeah. Like, favorite band, Anthems is like, life-changing album for me. So I did that the first time, 2019. And, and then again, just a couple of months ago for Australia. And it's like the same thing. It's so awesome to get to hang out with those dudes and stuff. And they're just the loveliest guys. All the Emperor guys are just the coolest people.
What kind of drum set did you set up for Trim, dude?
Well, basically, it's 5 drum sets altogether. It's massive. It's ridiculous. And he's so cool. He was always there, hanging out and helping set everything up and stuff. But yeah, it's that classic early 90s or late 80s humongous drum kit. I think it was like 6 toms, probably like 20 cymbals all up. 2 bass drums, 2 snares, and very particular about how it's set up, which is absolutely fine. People are like that. That's not a problem at all. But it would take a good couple of hours to set up his drum kit, as opposed to me, spending 15 minutes throwing up a kit and going, yeah, that'll do. That's fine. So it was awesome, and he's such a nice dude, and just getting to see musicians play right there that, literally changed your musical career back when you were 15, 16. Seeing those parts played and hearing it is just so good. It's just, so you get so inspired again to do that, or to, hear that stuff and you're just inspired again and, reinvigorated about music and everything in general. But the downside of that again is, 7 o'clock. Yep, up, go to the venue, spend hours setting everything up, sound check, and then, loading the truck and out of there at 3 a.m. or something like that. It's just like, it's a lot of time.
Yeah.
So, and they've asked me to do other teching gigs as well. They asked me to do Mayhem. I'm just like, honestly, I don't think I can. I don't want to make it like a regular thing. So I'll do it for, a handful. I love Mayhem too. One of my favorite bands. Hellhammer's awesome. And like, I've met him a few times when they've come and stuff. But it's just like, it's just time poor at the moment. And as much as I'd love to do that and it'd be an awesome experience, you've got to kind of make the smart choices and go, sorry, I might have to sit this one out and try and get all the session stuff done. So it's not a regular thing. And I don't think it will be, but if Emperor come out again, I'd put my hand up for sure. Just to get to hang out with them and stuff, because they're just nice people, and I like nice people. They're good.
Yeah,
dude.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, like, the one band I could like see you, I mean, maybe like Hate Eternal or something, like going back to like that early influence would be so sick to see that. But like Nay, when they were looking for their drummer recently, I was like, I wonder if Robin would consider that.
Oh, I got a lot of messages.
Yeah,
about
I'm
that.
sure you did.
Yeah. I was like, it was the same thing. Like, I didn't hear from the band or get asked at all, and that's totally fine, because I probably would have said no anyway. Because
for
they
sure.
tour a lot,
family,
and same deal. I'm just like, sorry,
but
basket. So,
Kevin,
who's doing it? Kevin
Parody, yeah.
Perfect.
He's
like,
perfect for it. It's awesome.
Amazing drummer. Like, he would just nail those parts. So, and I'm mates with Dan as well. Like, he's incredible and such a nice dude. Just like,
I love Dan.
and he's got his studio set up and stuff now. And is killing it from what I can see, which is awesome. Like, he's gone all out on that studio and like nothing but the best stuff in there. Which is the complete opposite of me. I used to run my studio out of a caravan with a fucking camping generator. Like, complete worlds apart. But, it's how it is. So he's doing really well. So I'm happy. And he's got his other band, Black Lava and stuff. So that's really good.
Nice.
He's killing it. So,
So Dan Presslin has a, is that what you guys were talking about? Like the tone on the DM5 or whatever is like the Presslin?
Oh yeah.
He has a kick sample that's very popular that I think he made in a studio.
It's not, I don't think it's preloaded onto anything. It's just on the internet. Everyone sends it to each other.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I remember going like the Presslin, like the Dan Presslin, like a friend Dan. They're like, Dan from. I was like, what the fuck? I didn't know like he had like the sample that everyone wanted. But is that still like going around?
I still use it.
Yeah, lots of people use it. So like you can program it onto the Roland TM2s and stuff.
That's what
like
I do.
That. Yeah. And that's awesome. That's like cool promo. Sample. So I'm old school. Awesome. I'm still using, it's technically vintage now, the old Alesis DM5s from like 1992 or 3 or something like that. It was just fuck yeah. Reggae.
Casey used to use that, right?
Yeah, mine died. Crashed and burned.
Yeah, I've got like 3 of them floating around.
That's so sad, dude. You said that really sad. You're like,
I'm still upset.
Well, they're old, so it's like if it dies.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Dude, remember the record or was it a DVD player that like was outside for a year of the Furniture Dome, Casey, and then you pulled it back in and then popped a DVD player and it started working again? I don't know why.
Sounds familiar. I'm like, I totally remember that.
I'm really high, guys. I'm really fucking high. Dude, I'm also thinking about other shit like Robin, how do your kids feel about your music? Like, have you showed them stuff that you were stoked on and to see what their reaction?
Yeah. Oh, they love it. Like my youngest daughter, literally, I showed her a Nail in the Thrack recently, and she immediately went and got her iPad and added it to her playlist, which is like a Nail in the Thrack, Pig Destroyer, Deicide.
Yes.
That's awesome.
She's just like cruising around. I posted a photo yesterday. It's just absolute chaos. Her in a little pink headphones, listening to a Nail in the Thrack with pink rollerblades on.
And
Just
she's 9.
doing a nice painting of Kirby. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like when I was growing up, my parents were like, "Oh, I don't know about this heavy stuff. Oh, it could have negative influences, blah blah blah." I'm like, "No, fuck that." Like, you guys are going to grow up like they love the Portal video clip curtain. They're like, "It's so spooky, it's so good," and you can put on Portal in the car and stuff, and crank it and stuff. And they're like, "Oh, it's so good. It sounds like Aliens." I'm like, "Yeah, it does sound like Aliens."
That's actually a very like organic, pure like
review
of Portal.
Yeah.
It sounds like Aliens. I think
kids
that's
review Portal.
very
There
accurate.
you go. Yeah, it sounds like angry aliens. So
doesn't sound human. Yeah, it's like a very like unhuman sound of metal going like.
Yeah.
It's like all these like crazy sounds.
I always thought that Portal was like, they lived in the uncanny valley, and if you look up the uncanny valley, it's like that anti-human, or not like anti-human, but like us noticing the differences between us and things that aren't human.
Yeah.
And how it makes us like immediately thrown off, or like a robot that is almost human but not quite there. The differences would set us off as humans, so like the uncanny valley, that's where you find Portal music. Portal's playing 24 hours a day in the uncanny valley, dude.
I got an easy genre for them. I'm just called opposite pop.
Angry vacuum cleaner.
Yeah. It's like what you think is like, it's like Western music. It's all 1-5. It's like the opposite of that. It's like it's all like fucking.
I remember talking to the singer of Portal, and he's like, "Yeah, we would like write stuff and then be like, no,
opposite.
That sounds too good or too happy or something. Let's fuck it up some more." So they go out of their way to make sure it's fucked up. It's awesome. So good.
Yeah, that's what's rad about it. That's exactly what's rad about it.
Yeah, it's just
those are the things you start seeking. You start seeking those more as you get more into music. You're like, oh, what's the opposite side of things? What's the more like dissonant side? Like what because it's harder to play. Like it's weirder. It's like your brain doesn't like acclimate to like a what's that
like
for food?
Think of it like food. Like you could eat chicken parmesan every night, or you could fucking go out and eat some crazy shit that you never tasted before, and it might be an experience that you might not like every aspect of it, but all of it is totally new. Like you go taste different foods to feel new experiences, right?
Yeah. It's like they're funky, but they're good. It's like they're not
some octopus legs or some shit. Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Actually,
exactly.
Octopus is kind of like bland, so I wouldn't say that Portal's bland. I would put. I don't know where I'd put them on the palette yet.
I saw
like more like duck penis.
I saw Anthony eat octopus.
I know, and I feel bad when I eat octopus, actually, but I still
last night. You were eating it last night.
It's like the one thing. Yeah, I know. I ate it last night, dude. But they're just like super intelligent, so I feel bad for eating their legs. Sorry, guys.
How about eating the dumb animals, dude? The dumbasses of the Animal Kingdom.
Yeah, like the fucking. I ate some shrimp tonight, and I'm like, fuck these things, dude. They're fucking bottom
idiots.
feeders. You fucking.
Oh man. Are you gonna get attacked by a cat there, Casey?
Oh damn! He's getting stared down. He's getting stared down.
Do you think that you're the reason why shit's going down right now? Because you're like in their territory right now.
Oh yeah, but they're up high right now, so they're like, I got you. This is my kingdom. Yeah, I'm gonna look myself.
Some more bacon.
Is that the same? Is that what breed cat is yours, Robin?
Ragdoll.
Ragdoll.
Is that the same kind of cat, Casey? I don't know. You might know better.
Dude, I have no idea, dude.
Okay.
Cats. They don't talk about cats like they do dogs. It's not like, oh, it's like an Australian Shepherd mixed with the. People don't do that with cats. They're like, dude, it's like a yellow one.
73% Chesapeake Bay Retriever.
Well, there's like tuxedo cats and there's tabby.
Tuxedo. That's not even a breed though. It's just like he's got a tuxedo on. They're like,
it's got some black and white.
Yeah, it's like we need to make this like normal for us. It's a tuxedo. So it's
That's
like
it.
ragdoll. I know ragdoll is one because that's the one that you like on their back. They kind of just go. They kind of like
Yeah,
lay
just
loose
flop
on their
and
back.
stuff.
They go
Yeah, they're cool.
like that. That's still like not a breed. It's not like an Australian. Like
exactly.
yeah. There's nothing like specific about it. It's like it's
What kind of
ragdolls when I hold
Australian
them.
cat is that? Yeah.
Yeah, he wears a tuxedo. That's our breed.
Yeah. I know. It's pretty
Yeah.
funny. Like I've gotten more into cats this last year. Like because my girlfriend has cats and all this, and has a cat rescue or like a nonprofit rescues on the side and all this, and and it's like it's
love
funny because
cats.
it's like I've always just been like I'm a dog person, and then I've like met these cats and become kind of close to some of these cats. Like one's named Banana, Jill, and like other ones, and I'm just like super down. And but yeah, it's super funny. It's like what you just said, and like I've like by being exposed to cats more, I kind of realized I was like, oh, there are some things about like dogs and like dog ownership that's kind of weird that I always thought was so normal that it's like cats are so much. I don't know. It's like makes more sense. Like the whole breed thing. Everyone's just like, well, he's 30%, Chihuahua, and then he's got like 45%. Like I had him tested, and
Yeah, they do
he's a
DNA
Cocker
tests on
Spaniel
and stuff.
like all this, and it's just like
they got a
it's
dog
weird if you really think about
23andMe. There's like a
yeah,
there is a cat
20
and dog.
20 paws and me or something like that.
yeah.
They're like the cat 23 means like, well, he's like yellow and has a little tuxedo. Like they won't like no cats are they're a trip, man. They're basically they're very less engaging. I mean I'm just explaining cats to people. You guys ever met one?
They're like little things on legs.
They're furry. They're like soft. They jump in your lap and they're very light. Very light. But the cool thing about my cat is like I could just leave, all the cool food and just leave for a couple days, and he's like, he comes back and he's like, "What fuck? Where were you for a day?" But I'm not that mad. But like I had all the sick food, but
It's
I didn't need to be
ate
like
the food. I shit in the box. I drink my water.
Yeah.
Where the fuck have you been, dude?
yeah. It's like I did all the things that I'm supposed to do, but like it's like I'm self-sufficient, but fuck you. Like I'm a little codependent a little bit, but not as much as a dog's like I need to get a dog hotel or a dog sitter. Like it's like it's the closest thing you get to a child. Yeah.
Yeah. A dog's like having like a kid in a way, and then like
for someone not having a kid, you can't say that to them.
Well, no, but I'm saying but a cat's like having a roommate. It's like, oh, I don't really see them that much, or they do their own thing. And like I don't have to like interact with them, but we live together, necessarily.
Yeah, exactly.
That is actually pretty good.
When a dog's like, they're home, they're like, what are we gonna do now?
Yeah.
Oh man, like sometimes you're just like, and then just like want to go for a walk, and all this.
Yeah.
It's not the same. You just pet
a
minute, and that's good. Yeah.
Well, shit. Where are we at?
Yeah, we're
we got
hitting
more questions, or are we getting close to wrap up? I'm either
Robin.
way. I'm either way.
We just
No,
passed
we'll
11
wrap it
o'clock
up.
here, so
We'll wrap it up.
Yes,
Robin.
you'll be-
I love you.
Thank you.
I know. I'm actually.
that's
I remember,
alright.
and one thing that's actually really cool about you that you said something about that's kind of like a little bit like resonates with me is that like you're like, oh, I don't like to hang out with people. I'm antisocial, and you're like one of the most entertaining guests we've had, and you've been very cool.
Yeah.
And a lot of people say that, but they're like, I'm the same way. I'm very antisocial, but I'm talking half the episode too. So it's like. It's one of those things that like I want to talk. I'm just kind of like it's a weird social
It is hard.
thing. But
Yeah.
There's
when I'm comfortable, I'm down.
With these things, dude. You get a feeling of we met for the first time tonight. Me and you. We never really had interacted before, and very naturally things just took off and ran. And I think that there are certain times that happen during doing this podcast where I'm like, I want him back on again already because there's just like so much more, because there's these certain marks during when you look at the time that we've been going on in the episode, you're like, okay, well now we're at this point, so it's like we can only really fit in so much more after this. So I truly would love to have you back on, Robin, because you are a great guest and you have a great attitude. And I'd love to dig in more on, other things about your life, like family life and all that kind of stuff, dude. It'd be really cool to definitely do a part 2. So
yeah, for
let's
sure.
do it,
I'm
dude.
up for it. That is awesome. As long as you guys are cool with
down to
that.
pay.
This
Well,
actually is
We'll talk about it amongst ourselves.
So time is money. So time is money, motherfucker. I'm a session drummer. I'm a session drummer.
He's like,
I
I
don't
could
know
have
why
done-
I'm doing it.
I could have done 3 albums in the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
Next time we'll
awesome.
pay you.
No,
It's cool.
Yeah.
You're the first
be
paid guest.
the first paid guest.
I think
No,
you're very
don't do that.
you've unlocked a lot of people like a way to make money and like have a family if you love death metal. Like it's like if you're good at your instrument and there's a way you can do it, and you've kind of like
Yeah.
shown a cool way, a cool unique
I
way.
guess so, yeah, because I was thinking, somebody asked me who doesn't know anything about death metal and stuff. He's like, oh, how many other drummers have your job? And I'm like, I don't know, actually. Can you think of any other drummers that do session work full time for death metal and black metal? I'm like, fuck, I'm sure there are, but
What
I
about-
can't
Yeah.
think off the top of
Lord
my head.
Marco. Lord Marco for a long time.
Yeah, but I don't think he
Is he
does it full
current?
time. I'm not sure.
Oh,
So-
full time. You're right. Yeah, I guess he was
Yeah.
doing a lot.
No, I
of
think
records,
you're
but
one of the. And actually, I'm sorry. Don't do this. Let just all go to Robin for music because he needs to feed his family.
No, I'm totally like Casey Brand. You know Casey.
Oh yeah. Sacramento.
And other dudes like that. I'm so excited when you see them doing this shit. I'm like, fuck yes, that is the best. Because what's the alternative? Like, fucking walking around a farm or chopping wood or stacking shelves or something. It's like you get to do what you love. That is the best thing ever. I'm so happy seeing other musicians, other drummers get some of that fucking cake because it's the
Yeah.
I
best.
love it.
So, there's no fucking competition or like, oh no, don't go to him. Like,
You
no
should
way.
charge. You should charge more though. When I remember you said something about like when a band was like, "Oh, why don't you do more intricate stuff?" You should be like, "Oh,
Yeah.
intricate fee." That was an intricate
Yeah.
Interesting.
You're all-
Simple
you should
fee,
do-
intricate
there's
fee.
There's like the meat and potatoes fee.
Yeah.
The base
Yeah.
and then
Tempo
there's
It's like a
change
BPM. It's a BPM
Yeah.
fee. It's like okay, we're above 230.
Yeah,
240.
BPM
It's like it
fees.
goes up like $100 a minute with
That's
230.
funny.
Yeah,
Dude.
like guitar wankery fees. Like, no.
But you should just
Dance
charge.
solos. All right.
You should charge like 10 cents per kick drum hit.
Yeah.
You're like, this one's got like a lot of kick hits.
Yeah, at a certain
That's
BPM, it's like it's
expensive.
per hit. Yeah,
Yeah,
that makes
yeah,
sense.
yeah,
I think that's a
exactly.
better scale.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
you got 40 less than 50 minutes or whatever for an LP or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll just play 16s the whole time.
How many
and
kicks
fucking
can you
buy a
fit
boat.
in 40?
Yeah, it's like you just be like, this is where my feet start here. It's like grabbing another fee that goes like around like intricacy. If you want me to like follow the, you just start, like each hand has like a fee. It's like, well, this hand could just do it the whole time. But if you want this hand to do more intricacy, then it's another fee.
Could you imagine the
per hit.
invoice? where you
Actually,
itemize
I'm
it
doing.
out?
I kind of doing the
Splash
math
it,
in my
splash
head.
it.
yeah.
Wait, 250 beats per minute at 30 seconds. So the
There we
double
go.
bass. How do you
it's
do
math
that
time.
math there?
No, you need like a calculator thing.
Yeah, you need a
Like
calculator.
those
10
contests,
10
like the world's
cents
fastest
sounds like
drummer.
it's not going to be that much. It'll be like
Yeah.
$15 a song or something like that.
Well,
Am I
It's like
doing the
that's
math
a
wrong right
limb
there?
though. That's a limb. So
Yeah, one
that's only
limb.
one limb, dude. So it's like
Can't charge by the limb.
you send them just one track
I
and
just
it's your
use
foot
3
going.
limbs on this track.
It's okay. It's all. I want double bass. It's like only record one foot and be like, okay,
Yeah.
you want the other foot? I don't know.
Yeah.
That's another fee.
I'll have to pull out the
They're
other
like-
pedal. That'll cost me.
Yeah.
like this band's like, yeah, dude, Robin did the drums in the album. We wanted like more blasts and double bass, but we could only afford like
It just stops at a certain point in the song, just the drums just cut out. Reach
yeah.
that budget there. There's 2 more minutes of song, but there's no drums.
Why does the song end in a weird guitar solo? It's like, well, Rob, we couldn't afford it. Rob,
They just had to switch to instrumental part. Yeah. There you go.
Oh my god. Well, in the future, I could see something like that happening because you know how
Yeah,
like
I'll have to
things
change
slowly
my,
becomes more
No,
expensive.
but what you need is like an itemized list. It's like a calculator that bills out like snare hits, like tom hits, like all the things. You send them a bill at the end, and it's like with tax and everything all included. Like it's like
Yep.
that'll be
That takes longer than actually playing the fucking
$979.66.
Oh
drums.
yeah, you need an assistant or something to do that.
Yeah.
Like
MIDI
No,
to
like
MIDI
yeah.
to fucking itemized list.
Yeah.
oh AI, just have AI count everything. Just be
Yeah.
like, all right,
That's true.
is
Yeah,
this-
yeah.
yeah.
Easy as.
Yeah.
Well,
But
probably don't do that, but
yeah.
I'll look into it, let you know how I go.
Yeah. But man, I have loved every video and every promotion of your records that you're on, and it's been so sick. All the content, really inspiring, pushes me, gets me inspired and creative.
That's awesome.
Yeah, you're
man.
doing it all. You know, it's very exciting, and I mean, just so much nerd out on your technique, and just very blown away,
Yeah.
man. It's all good stuff.
That's
So thank
awesome.
you for yeah, I mean, that you're just providing free to the world. It's beautiful. So
Well, yeah, I've said it before. If I could do it for free, I fucking would. But you know, kids like to eat.
Yeah.
You know, it's just
Yeah.
is what it is.
Yep,
and
they
yeah,
definitely do,
If I
dude.
can help people out with some free stuff here and there or technique stuff, absolutely. Because yeah, I do not understand musicians or anyone in like the creative field who are like, no, these are my secrets, trade secrets. You go, fuck that. You didn't come up with them. You know, it's just help people out. You know, so
yeah, it's
all
fun to
good.
do. It's fun to be part of the
redeeming. It's redeeming.
part of building out, you know, the possibilities of extreme metal drums. You know, just
Yeah,
throw a million things at the wall, and a lot of them will stick. You know, so
yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's it.
sick,
No, good
man.
stuff.
Well, thanks again for coming on, man. I
Killer
appreciate
episode,
it.
guys.
You're,
Right.
he's
Had a
he's
good
in
time
he's
tonight.
in the future right now. He's tomorrow
Yeah.
at like
so
3
tomorrow.
o'clock, 4 o'clock.
Yeah, 4 o'clock. That's good.
4 o'clock.
Tomorrow morning. I'll let you know what happens.
yeah.
Yeah, tell me what. Yeah. That's good.
Oh man, love you, buddy. Thanks for
Excellent.
coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
We'll do it again sometime for sure.
Most
Yeah, you should come
definitely,
visit
dude.
California and like visit the past.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Absolutely.
He's like, yeah, I'll lose
stuff.
money for my family. It sounds fun.
Hey, no, if you're ever out in Cali, definitely, dude. It'd be cool to get
Oh,
the
yeah,
kids together
absolutely.
because I mean, your kids are just a little bit older, but it's crazy that their distances are very similar. Mine are 11, 7, and 5. You know, so it's like they're just right behind them, but at the same time, it's like the same kind of distance. You know, so dude, it'd be super cool if you ever get out to California. Northern California, I'll get there, dude. We'll get the kids together.
This is
We'll
what
do some
California
cool
looks
stuff.
like, by the way.
Yeah,
Nice.
I wish, dude. No, that's fucking Hawaii, baby. I love that place so much.
Excellent. All right. Well, I'm going to go and actually hit the studio now
dude.
and get some more
Yeah.
stuff done. So thanks again. And I'll see
No
you
problem,
next
dude.
Friday.
And thank you for giving us your time, no doubt. And plug. Or you said you didn't really have anything.
No, I don't
plug
plug
them.
anything. It's fine.
Blast
If you want,
bonks.
if a band,
Blast bonks.
if a
What I
band
wanna
wants to
say is,
fucking
like-
hire you, if a band wants to hire you, how do they get a
If
hold
a
of
band
you?
wants to hire me, you just look up Robin Stone Drums on Facebook or Insta, and just shoot me a message. Just go for a scroll, see what I do, check out some videos. If you like what you see, hit me up and just go from there. So I am booked out for the next few months, but you know, unless anyone's desperate. But yeah,
You have a desperate
the
fee.
easiest way.
What's the desperate fee?
The desperate fee is me apologizing to the other like bands and saying, "I'm sorry, I'm going to be a bit late."
The rush order.
I'm very good at that.
The rush order session
order,
drums.
Yeah, rush order. Yeah.
Metal Blade needs this album stat. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Oh,
that's
so
funny.
good, dude.
Excellent.
All right, well, dude.
All right,
Again,
let's wrap this
I had a killer
Thank
time with you
you.
guys tonight.
Yeah.
Thanks for everybody who was with us live. We do it on Twitch. We don't say it in the beginning. We always say it at the end. And Battleforge Coffees, that's where we get our caffeine. CaliDeathPodcast.BigCartel.com is where you're going to get a shirt and put some cash in our pocket to make you more shirts later on down the road. Like, subscribe, do all that shit. Have a great weekend. We'll see you next week.